Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy with Tips podcast. I am your host, Rod, joined always by my co-host,
Aaron.
And we are live on Saturday morning, early in the morning, ready to do some podcasts, and find us wherever you get podcasts. The official weapon of the show is
Taser,
and the unofficial sport,
Bullet
and Bullet Ball Extreme. Feedback show is where you guys write in about the things that we said throughout the week, and we respond to it. Okay, we let you know how we feel about it, y'all. To let us know how you feel, and it's a reciprocal situation over here. I also want to say, just as housekeeping, we have a live show coming up in person at the Blumenthal Center for Performing Arts in Charlotte, North Carolina. You can get tickets right now. I will put it in the show notes. I'll put the link in the chat.
Live and virtual.
It's $20. You got live tickets, you got online tickets, you got in-person tickets, whatever you want. And it's at 3:00 on September the 9th in the Night Theater. And so it's a bigger theater.
Yes.
We're hoping that as many people can come out in person as, we've never done a theater this big. I have no idea why they put us in this big ass theater. I'm not even gonna lie.
Like, not trying to funny y'all. The Night Theater is where like they do like the big plays and like the big acts come. I'm like, oh, that's the big one. The one that got like the real high upper level.
I just feel like they said, look, it's gonna be empty either way, so y'all might as well go ahead and do the show in here. Either way, $20 a person. Come through. If you can buy tickets online, that also helps us. Any ticket sales helps us. If you can't make it in person, you want to watch it online, there will be a video that we will try to get to the people who pay for the online. So if you're not able to view it live, we'll still be able to upload the video somewhere for you to watch it eventually. But I mainly just want to emphasize this is important for us as a show and as a working relationship we have with Blumenthal Center for Performing Arts.
Right.
That we sell these tickets and that we do well because it makes them keep working with us. We have a very good deal with them where we just split everything 50-50. And that's huge for an independent podcast such as ourselves. Many people will tell you they have to buy the venue, rent out the venue, pay thousands of dollars, and then hope you make your money back on the back end. So we would like for people to buy tickets, man. So if you can't be there, buy tickets. If you want to, we'll even do the thing where if you can't make it in person, but you want to just buy in-person tickets, and we can give them away to people who can make it in person but don't have the money.
Right.
We'll even do that.
We don't mind.
We don't mind. So, we have over a month to sell these tickets, and we're really just hopeful that y'all come out and support. So we're looking forward. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
We'll have prizes and giveaways. We always have such a good time playing games with the audience. And doing everything live in person. So I can't wait to see y'all.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really, really excited about this because this is something that me and Roger had been talking about. It was doing a live show, and they're like, well, hey, we're doing this festival and we want you to kind of be part of the festival. So we're really looking forward to it. And like Roger said, for those of you that's like, I can't make it, you can still stream it live. So buy the virtual tickets, buy the in-person tickets, and like Roger said, if you buy it and you go, I can't make it, and there's somebody that lives in the surrounding area or who can travel, we'll be more than happy to do that exchange. And we thank you, everybody, in advance for loving and supporting us and showing and coming, and it's something that we are really looking forward to.
Yeah, ticket sales. That's what will help us. So if you're thinking, how can I help the show out? Buy a ticket. That's what'll help us out right now. And it's tough. It's during the writer's strike. Motherfuckers is down bad. I get it. So if you can't, there's no hard feelings. You can't make it no hard feelings. We don't want everybody sending us a bunch of I can't make it emails and stuff and phone calls and stuff. That we trying to keep the vibes positive.
Yes.
And it's if okay. You can make it, we're not counting anyone out. We're not like sitting around like, I can't believe this motherfucker ain't coming. That's not what's happening. I have anxiety too.
Yeah, we don't take it personally.
The same way I'm not gonna feel like you not making it is a personal slight. I don't want you to feel like if you can't make it, we holding some type of vendetta. It's all good.
Yes.
We want to do more of these shows.
Yes.
Now that the world's kind of opening back up.
Yeah.
So if you want to help us, buy a ticket. That's the best way to help us. All right, let's get into y'all's feedback and all the stuff that, we came here to talk about. Of course, the first people that we always talk about on this show are the people that gave us donations.
Mm-hmm.
You can give us donations by going to the website, theblackguywhotips.com. Look on the right-hand side. You can do a recurring donation, a one-time donation. Doesn't matter. We give everybody the same shout-out, and that's what we're about to do now.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlottesville, Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks of time to the Black Guy Tips.
That's right. New collection, new selection. Mary H. Thank you very much for your recurring donation. Mm-hmm. Deborah O. Stefan H. Allison H. Them H's is doing their thing. Michael F. Jeff M. Corey B. Jonathan H. Brian B. Marvin B. Yes, Marvin B. Nicole F. Early Daisy Photography. Mako H. H's and B's. They doing it. Okay, that's what they say. J. Full. Michael W. Asia D. Chriselle B. Annie P. Annie, are you okay? I hope so. Michael S. And lastly, Dana R. Or is it Dana R? Either way, we thank you for the money. Okay, we appreciate it. The kind of jingles and the kind that folds. We're gonna sell it. We're gonna spend it all. All right. What about 5-star reviews?
What about them? Did we get some?
We got 2.
Oh, let's go.
5-star reviews. Okay, the first one is for the Blackout Tips podcast, our main show.
Yay!
It says a pinnacle podcast. I like that. A pinnacle podcast. Rod and Karen, this is by Loger Finn. Rod and Karen consistently discuss the issues of the day with a refreshing nuance in this conflicted world. Listening to this podcast will teach you to be humble, laugh, and enjoy the world. Their series reviews are pure joy. Thank you for sharing your talent and beauty. Thank you, Loger Finn.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay.
I do.
And the second review is for our actual movie reviews, the Blackout Tips spoiled movie reviews.
Come on, sir, movie reviews.
Available everywhere you get podcasts. If you're premium, you get it right away. The day we do the review, you get it that day, that hour, whenever we upload it. If you're not premium, you may have to wait up to a month to get our opinion.
Yeah.
So
but you'll get it, though.
You'll get it, but it'll be, on a delay. Fun reviews. This is from JRD_88. Great movie reviews. I enjoy the commentary both from Rod and Karen, as well as the listeners. While I love the both of you reviewing together, I especially enjoy Rod's solo reviews where I can hear Karen laughing in the background. Cracks me up. Thanks for doing what you do and doing it well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, listen, Karen has one of the great iconic background laughs in the game. People love it when me and Bossy do stuff. People... When I'm on the Karen Hunter show, people bring it up. So, she's doing her thing out here with these laughs. All right. Those are our 5-star reviews. Well, let's go ahead and get into the comments on the page and the comments for the shows and all that stuff. But let me play a little bit of music. Jazzy little tune there. All right, the first episode of the week was, of course, our feedback show, Worst First Date Places. And this is also where we unveiled our new segment where we read comments off of Instagram for questions we asked. And we will be doing that again today.
Instagram.
Yeah, we asked for suggestions for the new segment and if people like it. People seem to like it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were saying name it meanwhile on Instagram. I don't want to do that because I feel like that's what's the tease thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we came up with the Yippee-Ki-Yell thing, but that's still like their thing and it feels weird. I know they do like Twitter and other stuff now, but it feels weird to do that. So I would like to come up with our own original different name for that segment. So the episode is 2739, worst first date places. Appia says, I don't think I will ever be in this situation, but what would be the right response when a black person says you, a white person, are my N-word? I would say thank you and never mention it again or change my behavior in any way. This would probably be the best, but I know I would think about it the next time we saw each other and wonder, is that their thing? What does this exactly mean? Do I have new responsibilities now?
I know. Do I get a badge just to level up? I feel you go, oh, okay, like what does this mean?
A lot of pressure.
Right?
You know? I think yeah, I don't even know what to say for that. I just, luckily it'll probably never happen to you. You in Germany, people don't even talk like that.
Right.
And you don't know no black people, so let's just leave it at that.
You know what?
And Rod was right about women also controlling men, but it not being seen so critical. My mother is a good person, but also loves to control those around her, and of course, also my father. It's a web of dependency on both sides. She packs his stuff for vacation, and this way controls what he wears, for example. It's very hard to accept for her when I say something like, it's their decision, we must accept it, and about my father or husband or other family members. See, this is what I'm talking about. We don't look at that as controlling, because also women will then spin it as, well, I just have to pack his clothes because but the truth of the matter is this is a grown-ass adult, and if you just don't pack his clothes, the clothes will get to the fucking vacation spot some fucking how.
Yeah.
Now, will they look the way you want him to look? Probably the fuck not.
Nope.
But that'll be him and what he feels like doing.
Right.
And I think this is a thing that we don't call controlling because women say it as like, I'm doing this work for him. But you're controlling what he wears in a way, and then you're siphoning it off. We all know women like this. And if I were to flip the genders and say, forget husbands, what about kids? So how many daughters have been the subject of a controlling mom?
Child.
Moms exerting control in ways that they spin as altruism. Like, I'm just doing this for you. I'm talking bad about your weight for you. I'm talking bad about, your lack of a romantic prospect for you. And in a way, you're like, you're just making me feel bad, and it's very controlling, but you're not. It's almost like worse in a way, because a man would come out and say the shit in a fucked up way where you can't avoid that it's fucked up. They'll do it in a way that's like, no, it's about helping you. And so I think when we don't think about that, when we just get so into like men versus women and bashing one or the other, I think a lot of times we leave things out of the conversation. And so I just wanted to throw that into the conversation, in that these things that are controlling are more about insecurities in relationships, about a bunch of other stuff. And it happens all kinds of different ways, not just Jonah Hill, not just whatever that nigga's name that's Keke Palmer's boyfriend. It happens a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and also women are smart. They're not stupid. A lot of times men think we're stupid, or society think women are stupid because they think women are less than. But we'll do shit and do it in a way where it's plausible deniability. So when that person starts flipping, or when that person starts cussing you out, or when that person starts rebelling back, it doesn't make them look crazy. It makes you look crazy. But in your mind, it's fucking microaggressions and the death by 1,000 slashes. But just because you say it with a smile on your face, or just because you don't raise your voice, it does not mean an offense has not been made. And as somebody who's been on a fucking receiving end of that, like that right there, that particular thing, it will infuriate you. Because I remember growing up as a kid, my mama used to do those type of microaggressions. Consistently talk about my weight, consistently talk about my hair, consistently talk about what I had on. And her insecurities was, she is the type of person that cares about how people view her, how they look at her. She's the type of person who, I'm not trying funny, and there's nothing wrong with people like this, but don't pour your insecurities on other people around you. Mm-hmm. And she was one of the people who likes to be clean and likes to be petite and likes to, even if she doesn't have a dime in her pocket, she wants to look like she has $1 million. And I was the complete opposite of that. I did not care. It didn't matter to me. I was the type of kid who, for a lot of parents, would drive them up the wall. I ain't give a fuck about hair. I ain't give a fuck about clothes. You know, and it was also one of those things growing up as a kid. My mama did the thing. They say this, but they don't really know what it means when they say it, and the child puts them at their word. My mama used to say, well, you know, when you purchase your own things, when you make your own money, you can do what you want to. And I said, bet. And when I got my first job, just getting paid cash on the table. From then on out, it was a lot of things that I bought on my own. I was like, no, you said that I didn't have to deal with your bullshit if I could purchase these things. So you don't like my clothes, bitch, I buy my own clothes. You don't like my shoes, I buy my own shoes. I do it myself and kiss my ass.
And I think it's just wild because in a romantic relationship, there's always this idea, and it can be true, right? Consensually, that people like to be controlled. Like, right. It can be true. There are people that, I remember reading a book about a dude. It was the book about the Great Migration, The Warmth of Other Suns. And this doctor married a woman who was like a very, petite, take care of her type of woman. He bought her expensive clothes and dresses, and he picked her clothes out for her whenever they had social events. So she wears certain dresses and they'd host things at their house. And look, maybe if she like it, I love it. So right. It's not about, telling somebody they can't be into these things. It's just more, and there's men who like, as much as they complain about, they like being fussed after and told to dress this way. They'll complain about the shit, but they're into it, Right. So I'm not saying that it's impossible for these things to be consensual or whatever. I was just more pointing out, these are the mushy, ugly, gray areas of relationships that we don't talk about in public. We talk about the very simple black and white stuff, and then we escalate everything into abuse that we don't like, instead of just being like, maybe that's just how they get down, or maybe it's a disagreement or conflict. And so I think I wanted to inject that into the discussion about all this stuff. Anyway, I think with my control of the style of my former boyfriends, I played out the dynamic I knew well. And also, that's another thing, people repeating cycles. So you got that from your mom, brought it to your relationships back in the day. And also, now that I think about it, I subconsciously thought, when I date a guy like that, he will be thankful that I, a cool woman, date him. And when I approve him, he will be thankful forever and never want to leave me. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think what happens is that we would never apply that to, like, when men do controlling things, we are like, they're just trying to shut her down. But in a lot of ways, they act like they're doing her a favor. Like, oh, if you wear these clothes, you won't get the attention from these other men. So I'm doing us a favor. I'm causing us less of a headache when we leave the house. But at the end of the day, if she don't want to dress like that, she don't want to dress like that.
Right.
Ain't really shit you can do about it. You can either break up or don't break up.
Right. Agreed.
And it worked, but only so much, because I'm not with them anymore. Dating a project was only temporarily interesting to me. And there was still so much to improve in myself. But when I had a boyfriend project, I could not think about that. Now, to see that one right there is a bar.
Come on, that's deep, because a lot of times you actually said something that I wish a lot of people would view. A lot of people would pick projects just so they don't have to build themselves, and just so they won't have to question their actions and question like, why am I going through this cycle again? Like they ask themselves that, but they don't ask themselves that long enough to actually get to the root cause of it. Is it my childhood? Is there bad habits I pick up? Is it social pressure? And a lot of that goes back down to knowing thyself. And a lot of people, even people older than me and Roger, they don't know themselves. When I mean they don't know themselves, they really don't know what they like, what they like. They don't know, because they never have given themselves a chance to explore the world where they make their own decisions and it's not influenced by outside forces. And they have never got to the point where they are comfortable with a decision, and everybody got to live with their decision. So I've made a decision. Somebody comes with opinion opposite of that. I got to say, you know what? You live in your feelings, because this thing right here makes me happy. And a lot of times, particularly if you're a people-pleasing person, that's the most, I can speak from experience, the hardest shit you can do is tell somebody, you can fuck about your feelings, and you got to deal with that. That's your problem.
Yeah, for me, I think just kind of what you said about not having to focus on improving yourself. I think that's what a lot of that stuff is. I think it's why people, quote unquote, sometimes date potential or date projects or whatever, because if you're always pointing out what's wrong with them, you don't ever have to take any responsibility for what's going on with you. You can blame them for everything. And I think there's a fucked up self-sabotage thing that people do. It's kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous. Everybody knows AA, but they also have I think it's called Al-Anon, where it's like people who constantly are dating and like supporting and being around people who are addicts to things. And they start making you examine yourself, like, why the fuck am I having this pattern of dating people that have all these issues? And you start looking at it and go, well, I'm couching in this altruism, like I'm just trying to fix these people and help them. Who the fuck are you? Do you have your shit together? Well, I don't have to worry about my shit being together because I'm always around somebody whose shit is less together than me. So I can just always judge them, blame them, have animosity towards them, not towards myself. I can tell them change their habits, but not change my own habits towards them, or just habits in my life I'm not focusing on. So I think that's a huge part of it.
And also the thing about that self thing, when you know better, you have to do better. And a lot of people, not trying to funny, they don't want to know. They don't want to find out, because then they will be forced to do the thing that they never wanted to do in the first place, which is change. And that's very, very hard for humans to change. Even though people with children, they say it to their kids all the time, and you've lived your life long enough once you get to a big old age where it's consistent change in your life anyway. But there are certain things that we've kind of cemented, and we're like, that's just how I am. That's not always true. That's not always true. Anything, any habit, anything that you truly, really want to change, you will change if you have the desire to.
Tanya W42 says the new Instagram segment is great. The first date at the fried chicken joint with a vegan had me rolling. I recently tried a new Mediterranean restaurant called Dagon that was highly recommended by a friend, which was excellent. He had a meal there with his family, and one of them was vegan. She dug into their roast beet mise. I don't know. This is very famous, very popular, I don't have the money to know how to pronounce that. But the problem was it also had beef tongue in it. Apparently some shouting and hilarity ensued. Yeah, that is the thing for me. I won't even lie. Like, if I go somewhere for like some ethnic food that is off the beaten path and it's like authentic, I'm not gonna front. I like weird shit like, let's try the beef tongue, just so I can see what it's like. And I probably will feel a little weirded and grossed out. I remember we had a place here that's closed now, the Burrito Factory. Mm-hmm. And one day this dude, he just, when we came in sometimes, I don't know why, but he just really liked us. And so he would always try to sell us other things on the menu. And you could tell these were the things that like Mexican people ordered that actually from Mexico that don't speak English and shit.
Right.
And so one time he gave us some soup, and it was something like,
it was weird soup,
tripe or something in it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a big tripe person. I didn't grow up eating tripe or whatever. I think tripe is like beef stomach or something. Let me look up the definition, because I remember looking it up at the time. Mm-hmm. But I don't know much about tripe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the stomach of a cow. Yeah, okay, so I was right. And it was a soup with tripe in it, and it was very spicy and like felt like almost tomato based or something. And I didn't like it that much because of the texture, but I definitely wanted to try it because I was like, fuck it, man. I ain't never had this shit before. He gave us a bowl to take home, and I ate as much as I could and thanked him. So if it would have had beef tongue in it, I would have probably tried it, even if I didn't like it, just to be like, all right, cool. And now I know what the authentic version of this dish tastes like.
Correct. Because, we go out periodically, depending on where it is. Like we've done like frog legs, like just that kind of off the wall stuff sometimes. Because I'm like you, I just want to see what it
I don't always like it. A lot of times we tried sea urchin once, and the worst fucking meal I ever had in my life.
Sea urchin was nasty,
and it cost way too fucking much. Karen ordered the shit because it was the most expensive thing on the menu, and that's what she does. Don't let all this honey baby bullshit fool y'all. She likes to go out and be like, oh, it's a $45 appetizer. Why don't we try that? And that's what the sea urchin was, and it honestly was disgusting to me. I can't believe people want to eat that shit.
Sea urchin was not good.
I tried it. I know what it tastes like now. I'll probably never have it again, but I'm glad.
Particularly not served like that.
Back to the comments. Pamela M8 says, regarding the poll question, call the new segment, doing it for the gram. Good way to get more engagement and hopefully extend your reach. Enjoy your week, Pamela. Okay, doing it for the gram, huh? Write that down as an idea.
I like that.
I like that one. The next one is Ernest.com, who says, this next one goes out to that poor individual on the first date with mom and sis. Hey Siri, play My Mom Is in My Business by K Solo. Oh shit, my actual Siri is listening. Shut up. Don't do that. Don't do it, Siri.
My bad, everybody whose Siri just popped up and started talking out loud.
Your mom is in my business. She's in my business. Yeah, that's crazy. Ernest says, Rod and Karen say they need a new title for the Instagram segment when longtime listeners know there's already an Instagram related segment title that's been unused for quite a while. Yippee-ki-yo, yippee-ki-yay. This message brought to you by 1 Million Tipping Americans pack. Shout out to the chat room. Yeah, I just, as I brought up earlier, I just don't want to use What's the Tease segment. They could easily bring that back. It's weird overlap. I think I still have PTSD from the whole Dem Throne shit. I'm just, and I know those are my friends, and it probably would be no problem. But I'd rather just come up with my own thing and not have any issues. Somebody put it on a T-shirt. Next thing you know, we're getting sued. That's how it happens, everybody. Classic R&B lover says, "Hi, Rod and Karen. This comment is apropos of nothing you guys discussed this week. Rather, it is a little reflection on the impact your shows have had upon me as a listener. I was listening to your former guest, Diamond Styles podcast, Marsha's Plate, and when she discussed something with her co-host and kept confusing and mangling the name of the white woman she was talking about. In explanation, Diamond stated, I don't be knowing these white people's names. I laughed and said, Diamond is channeling the spirit of Karen.
I sure don't.
I see it.
Who?
Classic R&B lover also said, I came to the post after listening to this specific episode. Rod, I can co-sign your Denny's food is awful statement. I ate at Denny's once because my friend who was driving stopped there because of all the known racism. My internal thought was, I could never be that hungry. And I didn't want to be difficult on someone else's dime. Every damn thing was like a salt bomb. I know. Why? Why did they put that much salt? They look like TikTok chefs. The way that everybody on TikTok has been triggered by the amount of people that say you didn't season that food. So now when I look at fucking TikTok, the amount of seasoning they are putting on this shit, they are trying to murder their husbands or whoever the fuck is eating
Send that
shit.
blood pressure through the roof.
What are you doing? The police are going to show up at your house and use that as evidence in the trial that you slowly poisoned your husband to death.
You slowly kill him with high blood pressure.
Motherfuckers putting a cup of Lowry's on the chicken breast. I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? God damn.
I don't get it. I hadn't ate at Denny's in years, and probably decades. They used to have it closed, but they used to have one up there above Carowinds, but that shit closed down a while ago. And I think I may have went once or twice, but I think that's the only Denny's. It used to be one up the street from us. I didn't never go to that bitch.
I've gone to Denny's once. It was the nastiest fucking thing I ever had. I legitimately don't get it. And now look, it's possible I am black. They were just being racist to me and they gave me bad food so I wouldn't come back. That's possible. But I looked at other people's plates. It didn't look appetizing to me. And I really was looking like the motherfucking Goofy meme. Like, bitch, you live like this. y'all just be in here eating this shit. I feel like wherever you live in America, if there's a Denny's, there's a better breakfast spot right up the street from them that's just like local or something. And you'll do way better going there. That's just my opinion. The bacon tastes like it was sprinkled with a bottle of salt on it before cooking it. Racism aside, I left thinking, how the hell they stay in business with food tasting like that? EVE says, I like the new segment. Please keep it. All right. We hear you. Then the comment on YouTube is SFA5226 says, Rod, Prince of the Nigga. Who would that even be? Me screaming in the car, Vegeta, it's right there.
I love me some Vegeta.
He was definitely Prince of the Saiyans.
Yes, so he was.
He does have that one meme that says, this nigga spitting, you know? So maybe
I love me some Vegeta.
Maybe that's it.
Kakarot.
He's like, I'm not gonna call you by your white man name. I'll call you by your original name, brother.
You free now. And
the poll. Let's look at the poll results. The poll was, do you like the new IG segment? Keep it or forget it. 87% people agree with Karen, say keep it. Same percentage on Spotify, which is great. You know, we love to see it. And I think the segment's here to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to remember every week to put up a question of the week for y'all to put y'all responses on. We'll read them on the feedback show or throughout the week.
Follow us on Instagram if you want to get your input in.
Follow us on Instagram. Instagram is The Black Guy Who Tips.
Yeah,
just all one word. The Black Guy Who Tips. Don't confuse them. Don't confuse them by even bringing up the other one, Karen.
Okay, my bad.
It's just gonna confuse them.
Okay.
The Black Guy Who Tips is it, and we'll be posting y'all's responses. I mean, we'll be replying to your responses and stuff, man. Yeah, this one's gonna be a doozy this week. This is one of my favorite questions, and I think we're gonna have a great segment today. So also the Q&A on Anchor. Or Spotify for podcasters was Denny's is the worst. Jay Barry says no, it could be worse. Waffle House, no fucking way, Jay. Waffle House. First of all, Waffle House is. I'm not saying Waffle House is good food. Okay, let's just go ahead and get that out the way because motherfuckers are gonna swear by Waffle House, and I'm gonna be real. I've never left a Waffle House like, God damn. They know, like it's more like. When you go to Waffle House, it's 3 a.m. You know what I mean? It's
after the club.
It's cheap. It's fast. You're drunk. It's soaking up alcohol normally. That's what Waffle House is about. And I'm not saying Waffle House is like top 5, top whatever breakfast places. Okay, I'm not. That being said, it's better than Denny's.
Yes, it is.
Carly says it was one of the only choices back in college, but yeah, you couldn't get me in there now. Not with this Spotify money. Come on, Carly.
Ah, shit now.
Tiffany says it really is. Worse than Arby's, though, says Chris. I've never said Arby's food was nasty. It's just a drug laundering organization. Let's keep it clean now.
And you know what? Waffle House may have been too, because for years them bitches used to be cash only. They within the last decade they just started accepting credit cards.
Right. Grand Slam, thank you, ma'am, says Ernest. Denny's is the Arby's money laundering arch rival. There's no way you can serve breakfast food for this long and still be in business. Yeah, the problem with Denny's is that they don't seem to be buying up everything the way Arby's is. Arby's owns a lot of other restaurants. Like their parent company is like, we own Buffalo Wild Wings.
They buying everything.
Krispy Kreme and shit.
Every time you turn around, they buy something else.
That's why I'm sure it's drug money. Wallace says, love the new segment. Keep it fresh. Aaron says Norms is way better anyway. Also, I love the new segment. I don't know what Norms is.
That must be a local thing, baby.
His Toy says, I've never had it. I'm a Waffle House girl because I'm a bird. LOL. Jane says, Denny's has never been the best. Never. And Dr. Uzo says, no, it's fine when it's late and you're drunk and it's the good Denny's. And Gino is working, so he'll hook you up with extra bacon. And you know what? You're right. It's bad. Exactly. I was about to say, you need all that shit. Then you know it's bad.
So if it don't meet your criteria, like, fuck it, let's go somewhere else.
If you need to be like, if it's the second Tuesday of the month and it's after 3 a.m., then it's not good.
If you hit the hostess going, who cooking tonight, and she give you the wrong name and you walk out,
it's not good. That's not consistent quality. All right, let's go to the next episode. Episode 2740, Loose Baby with Bossy Ickby. We had 7 comments.
Oh shit, y'all had something
DJ says the sassy trucker lady reminded me of this episode of American Dad where Francine got arrested for singing in Saudi Arabia. Oh yeah, I remember that episode. So funny. Brooklyn Shoebay says, thank you for having Bossy on. It was a good conversation. I'm going to listen to it again, but with my kids. My 16-year-old loves to stay on Twitter to observe people's misery and finds a twisted humor in it because she believes she's a loser. I believe she thinks she's found her tribe.
Oh.
She's not. Look, come on, don't let her be a loser. Believe in yourselves. You better than this.
Tell that baby you are somebody. You ain't got to hang around this.
Right. It's not a good place. It's yeah.
Child, you be like, ooh, child, a ghetto. You better get away from it, girl.
Right. Look her in the face and tell her.
I am somebody.
Appia says, I'm a person who has lots of work friends or friends who started at work. I would define it as people you have relationships about more than just work. You talk about private stuff and generally are interested in the other as a person or even meet in free time. And even I tell you, your work isn't your family. You are there for money in the first place. The company doesn't love you. They appreciate that you are good for business.
Yep, and the second you're not good or profitable, you got to go. Because what people fail to realize, most corporations are simple. You either making them money or saving them money. If you're not making or saving them money, they actually don't care. And people don't want to be that cruel about it, but that's it. And you know, when they start looking at them sheets and your salary hits that thing, all of a sudden you losing the money, you got to go, quote unquote, as far as they're concerned. So it's one of those things where if you in the working environment and the relationship turns into that, great. But that's not my objective, because I had to learn a long time ago. That's not my objective. You pay, I stay. You stop paying, I stop coming in and clocking in, and all of a sudden these relationships we think we got don't matter no more. Because most people, the relationships you have with most people, be it work, church, extracurricular activities, the second that thing disappears, the relationship is no longer a relationship. And this is why people, they hurt, they begin to get in their feelings. Oh, this person don't call, this person don't reach out. Yes, because the thing you had in common disappear, and that's okay. There's only certain people in your life only because this one thread connects you. When that thread is gone, the relationship is quote unquote dead, but that's all right too. And it's not a personal attack. It is nothing wrong against you, and you didn't do anything wrong. But society makes us think that all relationships are forever, and that's not a true statement.
And it's still a company.
Correct.
So when the bottom line needs to be tightened up, you might just have to go, whether you everybody's best friend or not. Whether you're talking about people in your spare time, talking with people in your spare time, meeting up, parties and stuff. I think there's nothing wrong with socializing with people you work with. I think, you know, it's not a huge thing for me, but I get it. But I just think, yes, you know, it's not really family and all that shit. Pink Superhero says, regarding Carly Russell, I too was looking for a source of the rumor that people got fired for accessing her hospital medical records, and I never found one. But I work at a large medical center and was told by IT once that people get fired for improperly accessing patient records every single time we have a high-profile patient. The temptation is just too great to, apparently, stupid way to lose a great job. I mean, once again, I hear that, you know, but I didn't see proof of it. And I think that's important right now because things happen on the internet and people's confirmation bias kicks in, and we don't have any proof or evidence things are happening, but we treat it as if there's proof. And I'm so wary of it at this point. I'm so cynical about this shit that I am just as worried about it when it's on our side, quote unquote, as other people's side.
Right, because
I think
made up, it's made up.
Right, and I think it's not like people were posting mug shots of who got arrested or, you know, something about the people that got fired. It just, people just said things the same way they said she was sleeping with an underage kid across state lines. Right. The same way they said she must have been trying to get an abortion in another state. The same way they said she must be getting abused in her home, and that's what she was really just acted out. The same way people said she was cheating on her boyfriend. And people treat all these things as if they are objective truth when we have no proof of anything.
Right. And then when you ask people, you're like, okay, you said that. Where's the evidence? People don't have it. And so I go, well, if you don't have it or it's not from like a quote unquote reputable source, that shit matters also. But, you know, just like the left claims the right just be running with bullshit, sometimes the left be running with bullshit too. We don't quote unquote consider it the same, but it is the same because it's fake news.
Right. So the way that you know it does happen is exactly why it's easy for people to act like it did happen. Right. But just because it does happen doesn't mean it happened in this case. So I don't know. As always, Ernest says, Bossy's presence is a present. I want Black Since 09 on the t-shirt, especially if we can force all the brand new Negroes to wear it when they come talking that mess. Also, with respect to the football players in their music video, am I the only one who imagined their coach yelling at them like the lady yelled at her dogs to go to bed? Yeah, I saw this video. I think you just wanted us to watch the video and play it for the audience and laugh at it. So I'm gonna do you the favor. I'm gonna go ahead and do that for you.
Okay.
It's this video. We saw it on. I saw it already. I think 3 guys on or Randolph texted or something. But
what's wrong? You keep running up to me. Show me. What's wrong? Show me. Philip got her ball. Lord have mercy. Phil, can you please give her back her favorite ball? I'm trying. You see, I'm trying. Can you please give her back her favorite ball, Phil Cartel? That is really her favorite ball.
That nasty.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Everybody, go to bed right now. Go to bed. Good night. Everybody go to bed. Y'all done lost y'all damn mind. Go to bed.
They doing it too.
Ooh, I didn't raise y'all like that. Go get your ass in the bed.
Could not have done that with cats.
Ooh. What's wrong? You keep.
So, yeah, that's the video.
Go to bed. I love us. We talk to animals like people.
Love y'all. Thanks for another great show. Shout out to the chat room. EVE says, it's always nice when bossy is on. Social media is a necessary evil for some people, especially if you want to promote your business. My social media is curated to a T when I only see the people I want to see, and I keep my posts neutral because my mental health can't take the stress of arguing with trolls all day. Yeah, and that's a big thing for me too. I very rarely will actually post an opinion or like something in depth online at this point. I used to do it all the time. Whenever I get reminded by those, like, here are your memories from this day, I always feel a little bit of embarrassment. I know no one should ever feel embarrassed about anything, blah, blah, blah. But I do. I feel a little bit of embarrassment when I look back at how much info I was sharing to people for free and then engaging in arguments with them, with people that ultimately don't matter. And I don't mean they don't matter as human beings. I mean, it's not like the things they said are necessarily something that should affect my life. In that I don't know these people. I'm probably a stranger to them or just a person that they consume their content via the podcast, social media, whatever. Many of them weren't even podcast listeners, podcast fans. They weren't going to buy a ticket to my show. They weren't going to pay to be a premium member. They weren't going to listen to my podcast because they were there for the social media. So I'm just here to see your content on Facebook while I'm scrolling all day, and you're giving it to me for free. And then I'm able to engage with you and argue with you and affect you. And I'm go on a podcast and be ranting and raving about these fucking people that ultimately are, you know, they're trolls, or even if they're not trolls, they're just people that aren't invested in me as a human being.
Agreed.
And while I might disagree with my friends and stuff like that, or they have opinions that affect mine, it's because we have a certain level of investment in each other as human beings that makes us have to consider our humanity before anything else. And so even when we disagree, we don't fight, you know, when we're not invested in, I'm gonna be right and you're gonna be wrong. Like, and I have a big competitive part of me. I have a debater in me. I have a fighter in me. And it shouldn't just be activated by any and everything. And I used to just let it fly. And so I think I also curated my social media, but I also had to realize it comes at a price of, you just don't have to share and shouldn't be sharing everything. I'll hit the group chat or something like that. Like, what do you think about this topic? And we'll discuss it there in a way that I find to be more fulfilling than just putting my commentary on the internet, and any fucking stranger can just like take it, run with it, misunderstand it on purpose, take it out of context on purpose, or just say disrespectful shit to me on purpose, because a lot of these people are looking for conflict. They need conflict because it keeps them from concentrating on their own lives, and they'll take that conflict with you, extrapolate it to something you didn't mean or didn't say, because they need that bad guy to punch, you know. And I think I got tired of that.
Yeah, that, and also you, and I've seen other people do this. People change the way they move on the internet, and sometimes that's all you need to do, and all those people will fall away, because at the end of the day, you are a form of entertainment, something for them to consume. And the second you stop being entertainment, you stop being something they can consume, you stop having all these, not trying to be funny, but they quote unquote consider hot takes, even though that's who you really are. You stop that shit, they will slowly remove themselves off of the picture. Like, all of a sudden, they'll kind of go away and float somewhere else, because like you said, they got to have conflict. And when they realize that, oh, you're not confrontational no more, then you become boring. You become, you know, this and that, and or whatever the case may be. And a lot of times, just a small tweak like that, like you say, versus you're online, but you kind of curated it a certain way. And I've slowly have seen people just disappear. Like, people that literally anytime you post, they was literally some of the first people to pop up in there. And some of them, and it's nothing personal, some of them are fans of the show because it's just something in them that they feel like they have got to do things. And a lot of times it's their personal insecurities. a lot of times they don't do it to me because I'm not here for it and I don't post like that online. But it's one of those things where for you, a lot of times, I don't know what it is about you. It's because you're a man. It's because you're a black man. A lot of times it's because they value your opinion. Like it's just something in you that draws people to what they feel like they have to comment on everything that you say.
Well, part of it was also I was inviting all that by sharing so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm writing 3-4 paragraphs about something, some pop culture current event. Knowing I'm about to go on my podcast, I can say it in a space that's safe, a place that has more context, that has more good faith people, that won't find itself being shared to a bunch of strangers. People have to willfully tap into this show to hear what I have to say. And I think this is the place I'd rather share my thoughts and opinions on things like that in long form, rather than writing long form things that people are going to purposely take a certain way. And it could be as simple as they just don't like you. It could be as simple as they just would like your attention. They like the space you curated and the attention you get. And so by disrupting your space, they get the attention that typically people give to you, which is another thing I learned to stop rewarding. And then I think, some people have a love-hate thing of, if I can't be your best friend, I'll be your worst enemy. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people just don't like you. It's not really a good reason. There's a bunch of fucking unstable ass, emotional motherfuckers out there that just, deal with issues, it's, I think I used to just couldn't relate to it because I'm not a person of that way. Like,
right.
I don't irrationally like or dislike anybody. I don't have jealousy issues. I don't look at what other people have and want it. But there are people who move that way. There's, I've seen people say it many times, and at some point I just had to absorb it and listen to it and go, this is a real feeling that these people have. I just can't relate. And it'd be things like, if I log on Instagram and everybody's getting engaged, I turn that shit off. Or, how come I got to see your vacation? Oh, this the food you ate? I don't want to see that shit. And I'm like, oh, there's something wrong with you inside, and you're taking it out on the world. But that's your reality. And me giving my opinion, me living my life, now I'm the focal point of that. And I think algorithmically, these social medias are about interaction, and they don't care. There's no value placed if it's good or bad. So when I'm getting on someone's nerve by just being my fucking self, I'm pretty sure Facebook is showing that person all my posts. Mm-hmm. Like, look what this nigga said. And they popping up to be like, I disagree, and I disagree, and I disagree. And eventually it does drive conflict. So you know how to fix that? Don't share everything. Don't give my opinion on everything. Only reply to people that I feel like are worthwhile replying to, or making a point in a way that I think is valuable. So that's what I do.
Yeah, and also the thing you're talking about, the podcast, it's a level of investment.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's one of those things where for most people, they don't, not trying to funny, produce anything that actually, particularly online, that makes them money. But we do. So it's one of those things where if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And,
Well, I just want to point out, for me, it's not about money. It's social media isn't necessarily making money for me either. It's not the money, it's the attention that they're after. And I think the attention is free.
Yes.
So if you look, I've done this before where someone says something very rude, disrespectful, whatever to me. I will go to their page before even replying to anything. And I'll look at their Facebook post. I'll look at their Twitter post. And the shocking thing to me is not what the content of what they're saying is, because normally the content isn't that good or whatever, or they could be a troll or whatever. Look at the engagement. I caution all of you to do this. When someone says something really fucked up and inflammatory to you, look at the engagement they're not getting. And you go, and this is the vast majority of people. I'm very fortunate, and I've worked hard at stuff, and I'm just honestly very good at using my words and stuff. I typically get engagement with most of the things that I want to get engagement on. If I'm giving an opinion, if I'm making a video, if I'm whatever, I'm good at that. Most people are not. It's like how most of the people that drive content on Twitter, there's a small percentage of people that get a lot of interaction, and vast majority of people, no likes, one like, no retweets, bookmark. They're responding to literal bots because at least somebody said something. And that is a huge part of all this stuff to me. Back to this though, I don't understand the people who do. There are literally people on social media who with these hot takes, and it's with the intent to rile people up. They lonely and they want engagement. Yes, I block and mute them because they are after attention, yet people fall for it every single time. It's not worth the stress. Yeah. The other thing is just these angry aggregator accounts. They're just people that share news and stories as if they're their own stories, but it's all aggregation. Now that I look at social media as purely a content creation thing, for me, it simplified so many people's motivations and actions, and it just explains so much. So when you see certain accounts all the time, but when you look at the content they're putting out, it's taking a news article and like writing a paragraph that summarizes what the article is about, and then everyone retweets that. Or it's taking a video from another source, screen capping or whatever, like screen grabbing it, posting it as your own video, and then putting up there like, I can't believe this person did such and such. And I was going to say the difference, because Evie was talking about curating her social media. What Elon Musk has done to Twitter has made it almost impossible to curate your social media feed. Yes. Because if you go to certain, like your feed, he basically puts people that pay for the check marks and stuff. He puts those people, or the algorithm, not him personally. They put people in your feed that have those interactive, inflammatory videos, and they're like, look at this, look at this, look at this. No, you didn't follow them, but look at this. Right. And it works because you see something and it's like some, video, and it's, oh, look at this woman slapping this dude in front of a restaurant, and then another person comes through in a wheelchair and slaps her. And of course, it's a salacious video that makes you want to comment and read the comments and see what people said. And it's from somebody with a check mark that only posts those type of videos or those type of things. And so you end up in that cycle of commenting. We're all there to comment and siphon off attention to things. And they've mastered that. So it's even harder to curate your feed than it used to be.
Yeah, because before they had filters up where you literally could be like, these are the things that I only want to see. I don't want to see anything else. It got to the point where even posting retweets of certain people, you could be like, I just don't. But like you said, with the change, all that shit all of a sudden, because there were people that I'm like, how the fuck this person even get here? I thought I had them muted to the gods, but apparently they was like, fuck your filters. Here you go.
Yep. Let's see. Classic R&B Lover says, hello, Rod and Karen. I watched a lot of Bossy's Twitter discourse, and I remained stupefied that she was attacked by those numbnuts. It was very clear that she was speaking about herself, yet even clarifying this fact did nothing to satiate Twitter rage for rage's sake beast. I don't blame her for leaving the platform. There is too much ish actively trying to tear us down now to subject yourself to that form of abuse. I will miss her observations, ironic and funny posts. Bossy was one of the people that helped make that place bearable. Rather than ever expanding Block Factory. Yeah, I think the thing for me is I think Twitter's always been like that. Bossy kind of goes and flows in cycles with Twitter. I think at some point I wouldn't be shocked for her to come back. Right. She probably definitely needs a break. What that signifies to me as a person that's my friend, I love Bossy, is like the membrane around your self-care is getting thin. And the things people are saying are starting to affect you, but also it's the impetus to share and to give that opinion also speaks volume. Because what that means is you're probably going through something and you need a place to expend that energy. That's how I look at social media now. People have things they're either avoiding or things that are getting to them. And here's a place I can go where I kind of know it's a shit factory. And I kind of know that these motherfuckers are going to, I can't control how they react. And I know they're going to react harshly. And, what I was surprised was that Bossy was responding back to some of the people, because Twitter, the way it works, if you respond back, instead of people saying, oh, I see your point, they will almost always say, I'm going to get the attention that the first person got by shitting on you. I would like some of that attention too. I remember one time I said something about like Brianna Joy Gray or something. I hate that lady. And the woke leftist socialist grifter Twitter was like quote tweeting me or something. I muted the tweet almost immediately because I said I'm not arguing with these niggas. And I'm a real black, not Twitter black. Like I logged on and now I'm black. And so me and blackness go way back, everybody. And so I was like, yeah, I said what I said. I meant what I said. There's no one that's going to change my mind. And there's honestly no point in engaging these folks. It's been years since this happened, but I muted the tweet. And I remember a friend DM me and was like, oh, they tearing you up in the quote tweets. And I said, that's interesting. I did not care, did not look. And I remember there would have been a time where I'm like, let me go look and let me respond. And I couldn't have been less curious because I know what I meant. I know what I said. And I'm fine with people being mad about it. I don't care for their interactions. And if they want to be mad about the truth as I see it, then they just get to be mad. And it won't affect me at all. And there used to be times where that stuff did affect me. And I'm scrolling and I'm seeing this and I'm responding. And so I think when I see it in other people now, I'm more of a, okay, my friend is hurting somehow. What's wrong? Because to me, these people are valueless. And you letting them disturb you about a dress must be something else that's not just a dress. It can't be. Because you and I both know you don't really give a fuck if these people get your joke or not. We both know that. So then maybe it's time to take a break.
Yes, and it's one of those things where, for me, not that things don't bother me, not and all that stuff, but for me, I'm like, yay! I'm glad you're to that point, because you have. I wish I had more patience, like you did in certain areas, but I'm real quick to be like, fuck them and fuck that and fuck this and fuck that and do because I'm like, I just don't care. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing, to actually have that within yourself where you're like, I just don't have time for this. And you just cut it off.
Well, I'll just point out, like, you always say that when I talk about this stuff, but whenever something happens with you, you come to me.
Correct.
So to me, it's not that these things don't bother you or you're out or whatever. It's just, I think you're more conflict avoidant than I am.
Agreed.
And you don't want to get into it with these people on social media. And I'm not knocking it. I think it's actually good. I had to learn to be like that. But I'm a fighter. If you say something to me, my instinct is to say something back.
Agreed.
And I don't feel bad about that instinct. In many ways, it's been very protective of me and it's worked and helped me get where I am. But, I'm more your landing pad for stuff, and so I think that's what happens. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to, like I said, I've been there. So when I'm not judging my friends when they go through it, a similar thing happens with another friend where I see her sharing stuff now. And I'm like, oh, she's sharing these things because there's things happening in our lives that suck, that are out of control. We're dealing with a writer strike and all this shit in the industry. And so maybe there's an opinion that you would have kept to yourself. There's something happening on the timeline that you would have been like, man, I'm busy. I got shit to do. But now you don't have that thing to do. And it's like, and you're worried about other shit. And now it's like, I will chime in on this issue. And it's like, well, when these people respond to you, I guess the way I look at it is like, you're the one in control. So if you let the people responding to you in a very predictable manner get to you, you got to accept the responsibility of, I didn't say this in the group chat to my friends. I said this online to strangers. And the illusion of control of this content is ridiculous. I honestly would look down on people if they truly believe that you can share something to your Twitter circle or you can share something in private and it really not get out. That's not how this works. People screenshot it. They share it anyway. So there's nothing really private there. Tell your friends. Tell your friends if you truly just want to vent and have a place of understanding, keep it there. That's what I would do. And when you don't, I feel like that's as much of a statement as anything else. When you say, I'm going to share it anyway. And then when I get my predictable response, I'm going to be like, oh, these motherfuckers you wanted to feel that these motherfuckers anger. You needed that for some reason. You have to look in yourself. Why did you need it?
Right. And also, I'm not even going to lie. I'm very truthfully, I'm very grateful and I'm very thankful for you that when these things bother me or these things come at me, that I can actually talk to you in a reasonable setting with somebody logical thinking, with somebody that has a true investment in me, like in me.
Yeah.
Because my thing is this. I do, because we have two different personalities. And the thing is, yes, I am conflict avoidance, because my thing is that's not my first response. And you have to know yourself. I know me. I know me. So if I get to the point, and I'm better with this as I gotten older, if I get to the point that I start responding, it's not good, because I'll be to the point where I'm like, oh, you have forced me to respond to you. I've been trying to do everything to leave you alone because the situation is not that important to me for me to actually come to you, and because we don't have a relationship like that. So the situation is not important enough to me for me to come and actually try to stranger online, for me to try to come and actually have a reasonable response. I know that most people are logical, but online, that's not the case. And it's one of those things where if I do respond, it's going to be, okay, I'm all in. You wanted my undivided attention. Here I am. And I don't function well in those situations. And I have to be mentally aware of that to know where to draw lines and all that stuff. Like really though, like I can get extremely dogmatic about things like that, where it will be all consuming to me, and I don't want to be that. Like I can literally become that person all to the side. So I try myself to personally to diffuse those things so that I will not get to that point where I'll be like, all right, motherfucker, here I am, God damn it. I don't want to be there. So I will do the other things in advance to prevent myself from going there. But a lot of people, they don't have those strategies. They don't know themselves. They don't have contingency plans in place for their feelings and emotions. There's nothing wrong with feeling things. There's nothing wrong with emotions. The problem is, what do you do when these emotions flood you? You can't reject them. You have to sit in them. You have to process it. You have to go through them in order to make yourself a better person. But we live in a society where I felt something and motherfuckers freak the fuck out. They don't know how to respond to shit. So, okay, something about slavery come up, it makes them feel bad. They just want to shut shit down. They don't want you to talk about it or nobody to talk about it. Like, bitch, this is unrealistic. And so for me, you got to understand that and find these things to work your way through these things so that you won't be online doing these things and falling out with people and cussing motherfuckers out and making everybody mad and subtweeting and subposting and everybody catching the fucking stray bullet people that was like, now why am I in it? And you don't know what happened. That's because you was angry, because the anger is an illusion of control. It's not real.
Classic R&B lover says, oh wait, no, we did this one. Now let's get to the comments on YouTube about it. It was Loose Baby, I believe. Vanye Lala says, I'm not sure what that Kiki was partying on her man for the internet. I saw a post that said the caption of Kiki's video was excitement about the song. A producer had taken a clip from an interview she did a few weeks prior, put it to music. Kiki's response to that post seemed to affirm it. Yeah, Vanye, she was partying on her man. I don't know if you've seen the same clips I saw, but I saw the video performance. I saw the, I think it's such I think you just have to be in such denial to see that she's not partying on her man for the internet. I get it. She's getting her lick back, and we're supposed to support, like, since he was being a dick, our support for her should be like this idea of like, yeah, fuck him, girl, but burn the whole thing down. Still the father of her kids, still some kind of relationship they probably have to have.
We don't have any personal investment.
It seems like so far it's just mostly a content thing. We haven't heard anything about them breaking up. He may have just be back to playing the role, and they might be cool on the low. We don't know. I always worry about people doing anything that seems more in mind for the fickle ass social media internet than themselves. Because I get the whole idea of the optics, and everybody cares about the optics, but that's because we want content. We're not truly invested in these people as human beings. It's Plies sharing fucking Britney Spears dancing around to talk about how her panties look and all this shit. Meanwhile, this woman could be having a whole mental health crisis. We don't actually care about these people, and we don't care about Keke Palmer as a human being. We care about how it makes us feel to be seen rooting for Keke Palmer. And if that means her clap back or whatever moment is great content, then that's what we care about. If we find out later, like, yeah, she actually is now in a big custody battle with her husband or with her boyfriend, father of a child, or anything like that, we won't really give a fuck. That's not our life. So I think the videos I saw, maybe we saw different videos. I'm not just talking about one about her being excited about a song. I'm talking about the videos of her talking about getting another man and all this type of shit, and multiple videos of it, So not knocking her. She's human. She gets to respond however she chooses to respond. This isn't she shouldn't be doing that or whatever. If you one of those, I got to get my lick back in public type people, sure. But just understand that is you worried about the public, right? That is by definition, you worried about what these people think. And I don't trust these people. The public, and especially social media public, is too fucking finicky for me to think catering to them is a good long-term plan, because I've watched this same public turn on these black women, make them cry, tell them they ain't shit, because they did
offline.
One thing. And Keke has done those things in the past. Like, Keke's an example of a person who has had these moments where she got fucking roasted by social media and took huge L's on social media. Everybody telling her, fuck her, and I never liked you anyway. So I'm like, this the same people. Just because they on your side today don't mean shit. These are the same people that were running you off the internet just a few short years ago,
right,
for statements that felt more ignorant and innocuous than they were purposely harmful and inflammatory.
Right.
But they didn't give a fuck because you're just content to them. Allegra says, I followed through on my internal threat to subscribe to the Blackout Tips YouTube just to see Bossy's guns. Really enjoy when Bossy is on. She is one of my favorite Blackout Tips family members.
Yay!
We love to see it.
We love Bossy.
All right, next episode is 2740. Oh wait, no. Gotta go to Spotify for podcasters, and we gotta do the poll.
Okay,
that's on me. My bad. So the poll was, did you know about the women can't shout law in Dubai? Yes, 12.5%. No, 87.5%.
Shout out to you 12.5 that Googled that before y'all took the trip over there.
I don't know if they took the trip over there. They just say they know the law or not.
This is with Spotify, right?
No.
Okay.
This is the normal poll.
Okay.
But Spotify does have the exact same percentage.
Oh, shit. Well, then the same 12% voted on both, and y'all got that money. Y'all got that Dubai money.
So, I think it's interesting because I think the truth is most of us did not know. If not, almost all of us did not know. And I think when you getting up to 90%, basically, that's all of us didn't know this shit. And the response on social media to that woman's plight was a lot of, how do you not know this when you go visit another country? And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's not some common law that everybody fucking knows. I get if you said, man, you can't fuck in public or some shit that's against the law here.
Right.
Or, but this is not something that's heavily talked about. Shouting? Oh, and specifically a woman shouted. If there was a man, they couldn't have called the police and been like, the man is shouting. But a woman shouting, they could literally get you thrown in jail.
Right.
That's a lot.
Right. And then that motherfucker left the country. Fuck you.
Watch out for those loose babies is the comment. Carly says, I've definitely heard of urban legends of baby carriers, car seats on the side of the road. And when someone pulls over to investigate, they are robbed. But this is in the 90s. Nelson says, please check out Mickey Guyton if you're going to check out a country artist. I promise you will not be disappointed. Tori says, you never know when one will try to get you. Yeah, them loose babies.
The babies.
Raphael says, looks times are strange. Fuck them loose babies. How about you treat you? That's why you need to go to beautiful Seychelles in the greatest trip of your time. No hoax, and you can scream and drink in freedom. Leash says, we don't die, we multiply. Adebola says, can't resist the babies. I ask God to protect me as I try to avoid bystander effect, to offer positive human interaction to people who seem to need it. Don't want to be scared out of being a decent person.
Right.
Not me. If Carly shit would have been real, them babies be on their own.
Fuck
Y'all,
them kids.
you can be a good person in the back of that trailer getting sex trafficked, but not me. Sydney says, what if I said Jason Aldean should have took one in Vegas, Route 66 shooting? I'd be wrong, but it's okay for some people to elude that stuff, but not others. Ain't nobody fooling with Jason. Right. What a bitch. I hate that dude. Like, and like I said, we'll find out later in the week that they did take Black Lives Matter footage out of the fucking video, just as I fucking thought. When I watched it, I said, man, this seems like it's carefully crafted to where someone said, okay, it's too on the nose to show black people beating up cops. Take the black people out, make the same video with white people, and then we'll just pretend that this is what it was about the whole time. No, the fuck it wasn't. Antifa, don't nobody give a fuck about Antifa. You mean niggas.
Right.
The FAMU orgy wasn't real. It was a college themed site. They would just reference certain things about FAM without saying the name of the school. Okay, thank you, Roger. I appreciate your doing that research for us. Okay, I'm pretty sure you probably put in a lot of hours to find out the authenticity of that porn video, and we appreciate you. I'm gonna have to do the same.
You.
The next episode was Merrick still grinding. Newsy writes in, I've been in court with a public defender who I watched scroll through Zillow. Well, as long as you won the case, right? I mean, damn.
I get ready to take your money and put it on it. That's a down payment.
It is funny that that's the one job we like. Get off your phone, but all of us at our jobs, I don't give a fuck what you do. You're probably on your phone at some point.
You're like, my job ain't that important where I got to pay attention 100% of the time.
And your
like,
job,
you need to listen.
And your job is definitely important enough to somebody, but you don't give a fuck. Obvious says, congratulations on the voiceover job. When I heard that Carly Russell lied, I was also sad. Alone being, I can imagine some right-wing people using her case to talk shit about black people. And I know if they do that, it's on them. Still, don't make it easier for them. Yeah, I have completely decolonized my mind from that kind of shit. I don't care. So, like, and this is for the vast majority of things. This is why when you listen to the show, you almost, I would say almost never, but I feel confident saying never hear us be like, don't do this because racist people will then say blank makes them racist.
I don't care.
It's their racist people will always find a way to be racist. Right-wing people will always find it because much of what they believe is in the absence of evidence in the first place. So a Carly Russell to me has no extra admonishment because of black women go missing for real and now they won't look for the next one. If they weren't going to look for the next one, they weren't going to look for the next one whether Carly Russell did what she did or not.
Agreed.
So I refuse to accept those excuses. And also, you're a public servant. Your job is to look for people. I refuse to give you an excuse. You fucking go look. That's the goddamn job. So
right. That's the job.
Yeah, I don't feel that. I've completely divorced myself from that level of disappointment for black people that do fucked up shit. Although, you know, updated news, it seems like they are gonna charge her for this shit. And I was hoping they wouldn't, to be honest, but if I'm being fair, they should. If I'm being fair, they should. Because when it's some white woman saying 2 Mexicans tried to kidnap me from Michael's and she go to jail, I'll be like, good. What the fuck? You know what I mean? When it's Jussie Smollett, I remember people all the way up probably to today, some people still make excuses for that bullshit. And I'm like, no, this motherfucker did something and kept pushing it. He gotta get in trouble. Now, hopefully, Carly's not gonna do a Jussie and keep trying to escalate and keep lying. Sounds like she's admitted to it. So hopefully it's a slap on the wrist, a fine, something that she's not going to really be taken away from her family. I think it's more of a mental health situation than anything else. Because of what she did is so outlandish. I can't imagine it's not a mental health thing. You know, I know people go, I don't like to give that excuse. It's not an excuse. I think it's an explanation. And if any reason you have is going to lead back to only a person going through a mental health situation would think that was reasonable. So you're like, I won't give her that. Well, you're not giving anybody shit. It's just what happened. That the kind of decision making that happened there is the kind of decision making that is coming from a person that's having some sort of mental issues.
Right, because you know, at the end of the day, it's time, it's money, it's resources, it's manpower that went into this, and that shit matters.
All right. Ramsey D. Jenkins says 5 stars because Merrick stay grinding. EVE says, I gotta admit that I believe Carly Russell nearly to the end. I think the people who are calling her a lying ass bitch are saying they knew all along, though days earlier they were posting prayers for Carly content, never gave a fuck about her in the first place.
Yes, sir.
Clout seems to be a hell of a drug. Yes. And that's why it does make me nervous when Keke Palmer is catering to these people. These people are always looking for content and clout and shit that is not real. They don't care about people. I think that's what throws me off about the Carly thing. It's hard for me to reconcile that you cared because she's a human being and you just wanted her back, or did you care because of what you can make that political statements mean for you and how it made you look to other people to care? Because the way that you sold the opposite of caring, the second that you know that the story came in and something was up, feels very like put it this way. Let's say it was your niece, somebody you love, and she did this, right? And let's say even in the beginning you had your suspicions, but you want her found, you want her to come home, right? Right. So you say, hey, can we please find my niece? Okay, she comes home. You find out she's lying. How many of you, if that was your niece, your loved one, the person you care about, would be on the internet like, this lying bitch, make me make jokes, most of you would not, because you actually care about that person, and you would be like,
got an investment.
And you would move from concern that she was missing to concern to what was going on with you, Carly, that made you go through this.
Correct.
That's what most of us would do with someone we actually cared about. So the way that they went 100, I'm glad you wrote in because you're helping me figure this out in my brain. The way they went 100% in the opposite direction so quickly tells me you didn't care in the first place. That was also clout. That was also just, how do I make this hashtag missing black girls and woe is me and nobody ever looks for black women and da-da-da-da. How do I make this a cause off of her? But do I care about her? Not the fuck really. Some people would have been happy if she was never found, or if the worst that happened to her, just so they could keep making it about another cause that's not really her and it's about me.
Yes, I 100% agree, because it turned from being concerned to a lot of them anger, because for some of them they felt like, I wasted my posts, I wasted my tweets, I wasted, this shine on some fake shit. Like, and a lot of them, because it wasn't about her, they was like, why she was just missing for real? Like, the fuck is this? Why she gotta be lying? Why couldn't they have found her dead? They did not actually care. It turned to anger because in their mind, all of a sudden she fucked up their content.
And some of them been arguing with people the whole time when they didn't know, and now they feel foolish, so they have to make her the butt of the joke, because it's like, I feel dumb for pointing out all these macro reasons and arguing with people that didn't believe her the whole time. And so it's just, like I said, it turns into something that's not really about her. And I think, I thank you, EVE, for helping me put that together, because I think that's what bothered me the whole time, is how quick it just went to another place that doesn't seem like it's really about her either. So, yeah, appreciate you. And yeah, and the people that, even the people that held out hope to the end, I feel like they just didn't want this black woman to have been like so many white women and other people that have made shit up in the past, but nobody has a monopoly on that. Comments on YouTube. Hugh Gordon says, Merrick Garland, the new impossible white man, and he didn't even have to be caught in blackface to do it. Yeah. All right. And then the poll, do you ever look at social media while working?
Yes.
Right. Everybody was mad at that judge. 91% of y'all.
But I'm not a judge either.
I don't give a fuck. What you do something that somebody thinks is important is my fucking point. It's a job. If you are a judge, it becomes a job at some point. You spend 8 hours you looking at Marvel Snap and somebody's life on the line, because to you it's just a job. Is it right? It's not right. I don't want my surgeon looking at TikTok while the fuck they doing my surgery. I get it. But I also, if I'm being frank, don't want the motherfucker that takes my call for customer service when I call Time Warner. I don't want them on the fucking TikTok either. But it's not human. Human nature is that we just get used to the shit.
Agreed.
Anyway, the people with money, many less. So 91% of the people without money on our website. 72 Spotify people. That's because they are the judges. They are the lawyers. They can't.
They're the people in power.
They are the surgeons. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
28% no, but still 72% is still a lot of fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
Keep locking them up was the Q&A. Kara says, keep your foot on their neck, married dog. Locked up, throw away the key, says Kisha. Toy says, I love to see it. Stacy says, yes. Raphael says, allow me to use this chant. Lock them up. Lock them up. It would be nice to be at the courthouse ringing a shame bell as they're dragged to jail. But they ivermectin people, so I'm shaming them from home. Lock they stinky MAGA asses up and throw away the key. Merrick Garland ain't playing with your bullshit, says James. Katie Ann says, yes, you used a prison clip. Y'all think she was the person that suggested
Prison, honey.
Keith says, lock those hypocrites up and throw away the key. I say this as a staunch prison abolitionist. Obviously. Of course. I
understand.
Blair says, I love y'all. I'm a new listener. I listen to like 30 different podcasts and you're my new number one. I just started paying for the lock content. I'm going to keep it. Keep being funny, great, and awesome. Thank you, Blair.
We number one.
We love to see it.
We do. Thank you, baby.
All right. Let's get to the last episode of the week on this high note here. All right. The last episode was 2742, paying Hennessy rates. Now, we would have just named it Hennessy rates, but we already had an episode named Hennessy rates. Because we talked about this before and found it just as fucking funny at the time.
I don't know why I was like, ooh, never heard of it before. Went through too many shows, y'all.
So we had Gastor and Shalewa on from the War Report podcast.
That was so much fun.
Some of our favorite guests, a lot of yours favorite guests. Y'all love them. Let's go to the comments. Tanya W42 says, this episode was so great, I listened to it twice.
Oh.
Abia says, I know Shalewa from Keith and the Girl, and I find her always extremely likable. I know.
Mm-hmm. She's adorable.
Every time I listen to her anywhere, I just want to be her best friend. I feel like she gives that energy to everyone. I'm not special. We're all in the same. I wish Shalewa was my best friend vote, and I don't know how she does it, but it's amazing. I love her. Abia says, I know you didn't talk about it, but I read in American media about those European heat waves. Well, we had the coldest summer in years. 60 to 70 degrees and lots of rain. Just wanted to put this out. Go true. EV says, great episode with Gaster and Shalewa. I became a fan of the War Report from the first time they were on. I love to hear that. I love when we love somebody, we put them on the show and then y'all love them. That's a great feeling. And I know it's just our people and not everybody is for everyone. But when y'all can get on that wavelength of, oh, I like this, we get it.
It is a blast.
That podcast is so hilarious because they have great chemistry, and Gastor always cracks me up because he always sends shout outs to the most inappropriate things.
He does. You be hearing some shit, you be like, no, this is not an appropriate shout out.
Yeah. Gastor will say some stuff sometimes where I'm just like, only Gastor can get away with saying that. You know, when he's like talking about putting all his money in crypto or whatever and seeing how it could work. I was like, yeah, Gastor, of course.
You be like, shout out to crypto. You be like, no, shout out to crypto.
Shout out to Martin Shkreli or something. You just like, that seems like an inappropriate shout out.
How did we get here?
Pretty sure that's a bad person, Gastor, but if you like it, I love it. Let's see. I didn't feel the least bit sorry for Mitch McConnell. That man is so evil. He's rotting from the inside. He probably just shit his pants and was embarrassed. Y'all heard that too. And that was, I hate to sound so, like basic in a joke that I feel like is a street joke and everybody probably made the same joke, but that is absolutely my first thought was, is he shitting on himself? You know, like
something's wrong.
Yeah, what happened here? Like, is this man did he just shit on himself and then we all got to pretend like we didn't see that this man just shit on himself? Because it felt like I mean, look, I haven't seen a lot of people shit on themselves in public. I'm sure it's embarrassing to people in general, but I've seen toddlers do it and it felt like what a toddler does. And it looked like what a toddler does when they shitting. So anyway, people on the left seem to be falling over themselves to wish this man well as if to prove they're good people, even though they know the right wouldn't have had the same courtesy. This is why I will always go back to when and how you motherfuckers out there talk shit about Michelle Obama.
Yes.
When she said, when they go low, we go high. and you all lied and said, no, I go to the flow, I go to hell, I go. No, you don't, because you have to play by rules and you have to be right and morally superior. You never truly go low. You always have a bunch of him and hawing on our side about going low. You can't even say Trump got a little dick without somebody being like, see, that's what a micro penis is what some people have, and it's like, what are y'all doing?
Right, you be like, this nigga's orange. How dare you talk about the color of his skin?
I'm trying to insult this man on purpose. This ain't an accident. I do want him to feel bad by the rules and morals that he has, not mine. I remember this a long time ago, and this person doesn't fuck with me no more. Thank God, because honest to God, I would have cursed this person out. That's how bad this point was, and it made me so frustrated. But Melania Trump posed in Playboy, and yet Republicans love her. What a classy first lady. And then they call Michelle Obama all kinds of harlots for showing her arms and shit.
Yes, sir.
And I pointed this out on my Facebook page, and somebody was in there like, well, first of all, we shouldn't slut shame Melania. Shut the fuck up. Like, what are you talking about? What are you literally fucking talking about right now? I don't have a problem with people doing sex work. Their side does, and they are hypocrites, and I will always point it out. Yes! And if you can't understand that very simple point that I'm making, this is not fucking 202. This is 101 shit I'm saying. Get the fuck out of my face, because you just want to look morally superior. You want to feel morally superior. Like, look, I love sex work, and so I would never. Shut the fuck up. I'm not talking about you feeling bad about it. I'm talking about the people that shame people. The people that call this black upstanding woman all kinds of manners a whore and ugly and beast and all this shit for fucking 8 years. And then accepted the kind of person they supposed to be calling a whore and a slut in the White House as if she was royalty. Accepted the fact that she speaks with an accent as if that didn't. They gonna call Barack Obama every level a fucking foreigner and want to see his birth certificate. This woman got a whole ass accent, and she from Transylvania. They didn't say shit. So if I can't point that out without you trying to play some moral fucking high ground with me, get out of my face. That's the point I'm making. So we never get to go low for real. So we end up in this. Mitch McConnell shits himself or has a stroke, and everybody got to do, well, listen, my father had a stroke, and I wish him well.
Daddy ain't doing this shit.
Did your daddy try to take away my rights to vote? Right? Did he? Because I'll tell you, fuck him too. I don't give a fuck. That's his stroke. Y'all deal with that. As the old lady in the new clip says, am I supposed to feel sorry for that bitch? I don't. She said, fuck that.
Shout out to Three Guys On.
No, that's us.
I'm supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't.
That's our clip. Although maybe they play it on there too. I don't remember. Speaking of another piece of shit, Jason Aldean is trash. Several stories about him being a garbage human being. And it says so much about him, by the way. His fans have attacked anyone with the slightest critique of him by using racial slurs, trash. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I haven't been privy to that online discussion, so I'll take your word for it. I don't know. I know his song went to number one in the country music, or number two in the country music. I don't know. Every take I've seen about it is mostly, to me, stupid. It's a lot of don't talk about this takes. A lot of, is it really racist takes? I saw a freedom of speech take from somebody. Most of the takes I'm seeing about this are just doing so much to avoid the obvious. Maybe they want to have a deeper critical thinking level of it, but this one just seems very simple to me. And I don't think he's worth going back and forth with his fans. I don't think it's worth giving him benefit of the doubt. He seems to revel in the, culture wars of freedom of speech, and y'all not gonna tell me what to do, and I want America just to go back to when it was. I don't know. Seems like we've seen this before, and to me, it's easy to just cast it as he's probably racist. And I haven't seen whatever the scuttlebutt is about him personally being a piece of shit, but that always happens when somebody does anything newsworthy. So it's, I'll just chalk that up to just part of the news cycle.
Agreed.
Let's see. Comments on YouTube. My mom says hilarious show, laughing, sweating emoji. I did know when we had Shalewa and Gaster on, I said, my mom's going to love these two. Not that she doesn't love all our guests, but, sometimes I'm like, my mom's going to comment on this one. Christoph says, when Gaster said we could sit in silence and eat this food, that spoke to my soul, preaching the good word. Absolutely. And
I learned how to do that over the years. Like I said, I could talk motherfucking paint off the wall. But as you get older, you begin to know it's a time to talk and it's a time just to shut the fuck up, and nobody actually cares or give a fuck about what you got to say. And that's a hard pill for people to swallow, especially people that talk all the time. I love to hear themselves talk.
Then we had comments on the Q&A. Would you I'm sorry. First we had the poll. Should they have jailed the person who sold drugs to Michael K. Williams? Yes or no? I was actually surprised by the percentage. 62% did say no, but 38% said yeah. And on Spotify it was even closer, 46 and 54%. So maybe, the audience just disagrees on this one. But to me, I don't see what good came of putting this 72-year-old dude in jail for 3 years. Like, what is it going to do? Unless you think he purposely tried to kill this man. And especially when you find out the 72-year-old has substance abuse problems of his own, it doesn't. But this is the point I want to make. I think we have a pretty liberal audience. They're at least center left, if not what I believe to be pretty fucking left. Just not radical, extreme left or whatever the fuck people are calling it online. Our pretty liberal audience, who does know the dangers of over-incarceration, they know the dangers that came after the mass incarceration that spawned off of the crack epidemic. We've talked about over-policing. We've talked about all this stuff on this podcast. And we're pretty honest and frank about it. And I don't think we're extremely punitive people. I don't think we're like people that rejoice in folks going to jail for nonviolent offenses. Many of these people probably do drugs. Many of these people think there's too many people in jail because of drug offenses where they shouldn't be in jail. Many of these people probably sympathize with the amount of black people who were thrown in jail and seen as irredeemable criminals and then turned around, and we watched the opioid epidemic where they actually treat people that are addicts like addicts and want them to get help. Many of us probably are envious of that.
Start all types of programs, all types of shit.
And yet our audience, 40% on our website, 46% on Spotify, want to see this 72-year-old man put in jail.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, America, majorities of Americans, there might be people from other parts of the world. We are very punitive. As much as we quote unquote claim this, for a lot of people, they only want sympathy, compassion, and understanding to people that they can relate to and people that look like them. Most people will never admit that, but that is the truth. Because for a lot of people, it's locked them up into this your family member. It's locked them up into this you. It's locked them up, fuck their mental health unless it's your family member. Most people, the compassion only extends to me and mine. It does not extend to society as a whole. That's human nature.
For the record, I'm not even shaming these folks. The point I'm trying to make is being punitive is part of the quote unquote justice system. And it's not just right-wing conservatives that believe in that.
Agreed.
People are upset one of their favorite actors is dead.
Right.
And at this point, they can't possibly think this is better for society for this person. They don't think this 72-year-old is a menace and all this shit. What they want is revenge. This man is dead and I liked his acting. I would like someone to pay for it. I need to feel that. And that is part of the justice system we don't discuss. When you talk about prison abolition and all this shit, those people are so out to lunch because a lot of the times they won't accept that people are punitive and it is a part of what people consider to be justice, not just in America, everywhere. We over-incarcerate in America, but we over-incarcerate, but every single society has some form of jail, some form of penalty that is associated with doing stuff. It's not just for the goodness of the heart of it is a no. Part of this is what you did was so heinous. And I think this is lightweight and a great example. I didn't anticipate these results from our audience, but it's a great example of motherfuckers really are punitive regardless of what they listen to, believe, say, all that shit.
Right. And this is why, and not to get off topic, but this is why it's very, very hard, and people online don't understand why abolish the police and prison abolitions is a hard thing to sell. They go, well, they was like, they get to a certain point, and then it's like, no, people do believe if somebody fuck with me and mine, I need something in place to quote unquote punish them. You just can't let people just go around and do what the fuck they quote unquote want to do. And that's very hard to get the average person to get outside of that mind frame, of something. Because the first question is, what if something happened to me? Who would I turn to? And I do not want to live somewhere where it's going to be lawlessness. I just don't. Because I know that the quote unquote only thing that is protecting a lot of black and brown and marginalized other people. Now, we still get beat up, we still get fucked up, we still get killed. Don't get me wrong, at an alarming rate. But the only thing that is preventing certain things from happening is these laws and these things in place, because they know if they do shit, not all the time, but every now and then, somebody will be held accountable and responsible for doing shit. That's why can't nobody bust up in your house and just take everything and ramshack because of these laws. I don't want a place of lawlessness. So unless you're going to tell people that something's going to be in place where I have something to go to, and I don't want no feelings, I don't want no tribal council, I want rules and regulations and laws, so I know that something's going to happen. People feel like this, and until you get to the root foundation of that, you're never going to get people to change their minds.
The Q&A, who would Oprah come out of retirement to interview right now? Honestly, I would love an unabashed interview with Xi Jinping, says Creasy. Trayvon says Britney Spears and her family. I feel like that's cheating because that they can't be in the same place at the same time. And Monty says Issa Rae. Issa Rae. See, I think Issa Rae is giving interviews and she's doing too much positive shit. I think it would take like a huge messy scandal to get Oprah to come out. Oprah got an interview the extraterrestrials when they inevitably make their Earth debut. That's a good one.
That's a great one.
I do think she will interview the aliens.
She would get the scoop. Yes.
Beyonce says Bianca. Vladimir Putin, his egotistic ass, would think that he can disrespect Oprah. Once Oprah's done with him, he would totally be demystified. I'll pay to watch the interview. I absolutely disagree. Think he might poison her water. Don't do it, Oprah. Danielle Letty says Carly Russell. Oh, low-key, I feel like Carly not big enough. Like if Carly would have stayed on the run for like 2 years and came back, yes.
Okay, that would, yes.
But 2 days, that's not on Oprah radar. Beyonce and Ta-Nehisi Coates, I think they got the same issue as Issa Rae. Ta-Nehisi could possibly, Beyonce and Ta-Nehisi they're on the list though. Because they don't do interviews really, so it would be a gap. But they also need something messy to happen too. And Roger says, I would say B or VP Harris, but I really want to interview Duchess Carisha Young, Miami Brownlee, aka the Black Oprah. I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know who that is.
He's talking about maybe I'm thinking the wrong person. Let me Google to make sure I'm saying before I say some wrong shit.
Okay.
Yeah, Young Miami. Yeah, that's what I thought. From Act Up and Get Smacked Up. What the fuck is the name of the group? City Girls, I think.
Okay.
But once again, I don't think Young Miami. I don't think Oprah's getting out of bed. I don't think she's taking that phone call.
That's not worth it to her.
Yeah, I think when I say Oprah interview, I'm thinking big. I think aliens was the best answer so far.
Yeah, she ain't gonna move for nothing.
Yeah. All right.
Like I make more money in my sleep than some of y'all niggas make all year.
All right, let's get to the next segment, which is our Instagram segment. We'll play some music first.
Cook that up, bro.
All right. Let's get to the Instagram segment. Right now, we're tentatively thinking doing it for the gram. I think if I remember, I'll make this the Q&A. So y'all can make suggestions, and next week we'll pick a name definitively. But doing it for the gram is a pretty good name. So doing it for the gram on the Blackout Tips Instagram, we had a post. What is the best slang white people came up with?
Oh, that's a good one. They got some good ones.
And I said, for example, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I love that. Let's go through the list. It's Me Fink says, oh, that is rich.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, that is rich is a good one. I like oh, that's rich. They was in their bag that day. Oh, that's rich. That's basically like, that's them saying bullshit. That's cap. That is white people's version of that's cap. Miss Christabel says, whatever. And she included a GIF, because you can do the GIF, whatever you call it, on Instagram now, and it's somebody doing the W, a white woman doing the W sign of whatever. Like, let's see who else. Miss Smart says, hold it right there, buddy.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's freeze, you know.
I like Buster Brown.
Buster Brown. Is that? I didn't know that was a white person one, but that's a good one.
How many niggas you talk about Buster Brown?
I feel like Buster Brown could be old school black people, but I don't know. I have no. You know, Instant Mari says anything followed by pal. Pal is a good one. Pal is a good one. Wang dang doodle. Now that feels racist to me. And white people are good at coming up with racism. Of course, they did invent the N-word, which is the greatest racist of all time. The greatest racism. Art Akers says, newsflash, buddy.
Newsflash is a dude. That is they jam.
Newsflash, buddy, is there. You got me fucked up. Newsflash, buddy. That's mighty white of you. Now, see, I assumed we came up with that.
Yeah, I don't think that would be that.
Yeah, I feel like a black person said that to another black person a long time ago, and then white people co-opted it. More Olivia says, why I oughta? Why I oughta? Damien says, that's what she said. They do love what that's what she said. That's definitely one of theirs. Okay, I remember the peak that's what she said days during the office, and it was out of control. Well, that really screwed the pooch, says
that's a good one. That is they jail.
Who came up with that first? Because
that really screwed the pooch.
Who came up with that first? Because that person basically, I'm assuming, was making a joke about fucking a dog. What else can screwing the pooch mean? So someone came up with this phrase of, man, you really had sex with a dog just now. And they were like, yep, that's going to last. That caught on. That became too spicy for the pepper. Everybody was like, I'm going to say that. You really screwed the pooch on this one. And it's normally said when you fucked up. Mm-hmm. Yes. Which is like, so is the implication you accidentally fucked a dog? Like you were meant to do something else, but I meant to fuck a woman, but I fucked a dog. Man, I really screwed the pooch today. Using darn or heck. That feels very Minnesota nice. Same thing with gee whiz.
Gee whiz.
Yeah. Gee whiz is not, that didn't, I like me a G Willikers, but gee whiz is definitely white people. You're barking up the wrong tree. Now here's the thing for GoldenEye Quan with that one. Combine that earlier with the person that said, pal, I love her. You're barking up the wrong tree, pal.
Yeah, yes.
That's a definitely, you got me fucked up in whiteness. Translating pure white. That really grinds my gears.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
That's black people. You getting on my last nerve. You getting on my nerves. You really grind my gears. Are you writing all these down or something over there? What's going on?
I'm listening.
Oh, okay. I was just looking over there. I thought maybe you were trying to make them all titles of the show or something. They ain't that ingenious to come up with any slang that sticks. That's wrong. They came up with our number one slang, which is nigger. So DJ Johnson, you absolutely wrong.
That one will last of all time. That
Yeah.
is their number one jam. Like they so mad they can't top that. Like that was like the pinnacle, and they like never recovered. They was like, damn it,
Nothing's lasted
blew the
longer.
load.
Nothing's lasted longer than that one.
You know that's so inventive. They'll take other races and just throw that word on the end.
Right. Flicks Chick G says, "Don't goat rope me." Never heard of that one.
That's a new one to me.
The fuck is goat rope?
I have no idea.
What kind of white people do you know that comes up?
Goat rope.
A confusing, disorganized situation often attributed to or marked by human error. Literally never heard of this shit.
Me either.
Well, you dealing with some different kind of whites.
I mean, you in deep.
Them wine and cheese country whites or something.
Come on, charcuterie boards.
Totally, says Sonic Geek. And I guess you mean it like totally, like in the 90s. As if, says Peaches said.
Come on, as if.
That's also a that's cap. That's also a that's cap. Bacon, our dog Bacon, making bacon, Mecca Bacon Zilla says, I just had to explain. Now we're cooking with gas to my gaming friends from South America is now a favorite because it absolutely is ridiculous. Oh my God.
Yeah, now we're cooking with gas. That is a good one.
That absolutely is. Yeah.
That's 100% white. You're like, cooking what the fuck? What the fuck is we cooking?
I imagine that slang happened because the first person that had a gas stove wanted to brag.
Yeah.
And they was like, come over to my house. I'll cook dinner for us. And then they started cooking. They was like, oh, y'all still using them
charcoals.
Y'all still using them charcoal bricks. Y'all still using that open flame.
Y'all still using them wood chips.
Now we cooking with gas.
Yes.
You broke bitch. Mike Kaplan.
Oh shit.
He says, hold the phone. That's a good one. That is a good one.
Hold the phone. Yes, hold the phone.
Definitely white people's I can't believe this. You ain't gonna like, yeah, hold the phone. That's a good one. That has multiple uses.
Yes.
Well, if that just don't beat all. That's for Creasy. That's a good one.
That's hilarious.
Miss Criswell says, pull my finger. Yeah, I guess it's white slang. Is that white slang?
I don't know. That's white slang. Well,
I feel like pulling my leg is white slang. Pull my finger is just a fart joke, which white people probably invented.
Yeah, that's what sound like a fart joke.
But they don't really use it as like a phrase. It's just like them being gross. Look here, bucko.
Not bucko. That's a good one. Never heard of bucko.
I've heard of bucko. I've heard that one before. Look here, bucko. But my favorite thing is that at some point, bucko also became fucko. I've seen white people say fucko before.
Oh.
Look here, bucko's pretty good. Sheesh says, let's go Lexo. I didn't know that was white, but it do make sense. Sheesh. Chief Steve says, it's a tie between Heavens to Betsy.
Heavens to Betsy, yes!
And G's Louise.
I like that G's Louise.
Let's both of them.
Who is Louise?
Who is Betsy and Louise, and why did they get stuck with that?
Paul, y'all just be picking a random white woman's name.
Some woman named Elizabeth. Maybe that was the first Karen. I don't know.
Apparently so.
You're cruising for a bruising.
That's a good one.
That's definitely a FAFO situation. Kyla says, dilly-dallying. Dilly-dallying. That means fucking around. That means wasting time, right? I like that. That is some good white slang. I think I use that sometimes.
Me too.
AJ says, don't piss on my head and call it rain. They definitely do that. They definitely say. Cooking with gas, Lola says. Mm-hmm. Nashio says, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum. I do like that. They don't say it enough. Willy nilly. That's another good one.
Yes, it is.
K-Can says, holy fuck. That's a good one, too. I use that. Golly G says, open your eyes, look up to the skies. Yes, Golly G is a good one. That's up there with G Willikers. Langston says, whatever, used to cut people deep. And don't let Mackenzie add double loser to it. It was over. Jonathan says, cut the malarkey.
That's definitely y'all malarkey. I don't even know what the fuck a malarkey is.
Chef kiss, sprinkle salt bay emoji. They did that. They cut the malarkey. They did that one. Bitch please says us still 07. I'm not sure that's them. I feel like bitch please is us.
I feel like that is a us thing.
At least the way we use it. I feel like they don't. White people a little too literal with they stuff. They would have really meant, please, bitch, do this thing for me. Leslie says that really gets my goat. That's them. Mm-hmm. And what does it mean to get the goat? I don't know. Was someone stealing goats?
What happens once you get the goat?
Yeah, was someone stealing people goats? And it was like, oh, that really gets my goat. This guy.
That's so simple and insulting.
It is.
This guy.
Someone said that's their way of calling someone an asshole. Yes.
Can you believe this guy?
This guy. Oh, this is a good one. JVB says, friggin' A.
Yes!
Friggin' A. Yeah, friggin' A, fucking A. I don't even know what the A stands for. That is they shit. J252 says, look here, buddy. Or newsflash, buddy, are my faves, cause
look here, Buckaroo. I've heard that one.
Yeah, look, whatever coming after those phrases are getting ready to be said with conviction. That's what she said. We got that already. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Hey, that's my example. That's what we started with. Preacher says, I've had it up to here.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Not up to here. And they put their hand up.
Yeah.
It's nobody above their head.
Yeah. I'm not fucking.
That's what you know. It's serious.
Not fucking around with y'all no more. Manifest Destiny. Now, that's a good one in that they came up with it. It's a bad one in that they don't use it as slang. It's not really slang. When's the last time a white person dropped Manifest Destiny in passing? True. You know, I had it up to here. They say that still. As if this one's French Canadian, but used in English as Shut Up Podcast. Fuck the dog. It's another way to say you didn't do shit today.
That's a new one.
That's weird that fuck the dog has a different meaning than screwed the pooch. Outcasting one says, don't press your luck, buddy.
Come on. That's a slow your horses. That's another one they use, slow your horses.
Yes. Lots of imagination says, dude. Elbows are on the table says, can't cut the mustard. Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good one. They can't cut the mustard because that's not ours.
Can't cut the mustard. They were in the zone.
Yes,
okay?
Can't cut the mustard.
I don't even know.
Think about that meant. I don't know if they tried mayo. They was like, nah, mayo don't work.
What can't cut the mustard? Mustard is a liquid, basically. Everything, a spoon could cut mustard.
And I guess that's the point.
So if
they can't cut it.
Right, if they say you can't cut the mustard, you know how you ain't shit. They really saying you completely ain't shit. You are so inept, you can't cut a fucking not solid thing. Wow. Appia says, well, today I wanted to participate in the Instagram poll, but as a white foreigner from a non-English speaking country, maybe next time. All right. Well, I'm sure Germany got plenty of shit that's white people slang, but it's okay. No pressure to contribute. Black Octagon says, that's a bunch of hooey.
Not hooey. What the hell is a hooey?
Oh, that's so good.
Some of these is white people across the country. Depends on where you live. Because what the hell is a hooey?
Is that what the Hoosiers were? I don't know. Is that hooey and the blowfish? I don't know. But a bunch of hooey is white. And why don't they still use that? They should do that more often. I want to see Jeff Van Gundy covering the NBA and the ref make a bad call and he call it a bunch of hooey. Y'all are losing recipes.
Yes, y'all are.
He was as mad as a hornet, says Ben Duart. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. That's why they pay you the big bucks. Screwed the pooch. Shut your white mouth. That's not white. What? I think Wilder just wanted to say something.
Because I'm about to say they normally don't. It's like when they actually. Their thing don't have the race in it when they talk to each other, right?
If you would have just said, shut your mouth, maybe. But shut your white mouth is not a. I mean, maybe you know just some different white people than I know, and that's
Agreed.
possible. But I've never heard that one in any of my adventures with the white people, with the other side. Okay. And lastly, holy smokes.
That's a good one.
Great job, everyone. Great job. I love this segment. Okay, doing it for the gram. Tentatively named. Now let's get into the emails. The last thing. No voicemails. All right. Final segment, voicemails. I mean, emails. We didn't get any voicemails this week. Professor Caritha says, just my luck. Dear Rod and Karen, I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing into wine. Y'all made the announcement about the live show shortly after I arranged to be in Minneapolis to see Janelle Monáe with a friend whose birthday is the same week. It's a perfect example of how we just can't do everything. It's no one's fault. I'm happy to be there for my friend, but I'm doing a little whining now to get it out my system, LOL. Sending good energy to you all and all of the Blackout Tips Nation. I'll see y'all next time. P.S. The Drapetomaniacs podcast is brilliant in so many ways with the AI assistant perfection. You had to mention on the pregame the freedom of creating a fictional character to help the story, but the execution worked so freaking well. Yeah, I didn't write that one. And the AI being Monet Exchange, I think if you guys would have saw the first draft versus what we ended up with, that Monet Exchange performance just completely took it to the next level. And I love that. As far as just not being able to make it, obviously, as I brought up earlier, and I don't want to pile on or make it seem like it's an issue, but no need to write in about it, guys. If you can't make it, no one's holding you there's no hostility. We're not holding you
hostage. We're not disappointed.
There's no negativity towards it. And just as an artist, as a creative, as the person that's gonna be doing this event, let me just be completely transparent with y'all. When someone writes in to tell you they're not gonna make it, it doesn't feel good, because you want to create a vibe of who, like, we're having fun. The people that can make it are going to have fun. The people that don't make it wish they could be there, but it's cool. They're not going to be there. They'll be missed. It'll still be a good time. You'll be able to watch the video later. You can buy virtual tickets if you want to support. But it's like if you're holding a wedding and people keep sending the RSVPs that they're not going to make it, and it's like, damn, is anybody coming to the wedding? That's just the anxiety and stuff we start to have as the creators of it. So no need to write in that you can't make it. I'm only saying it now because it's going to be the beginning of a lot of people who can't make it writing in to tell us they can't make it. And I feel similar to like JL Covan when he's doing a live show and people are like, I'm your biggest fan. I wish it was at 3:00. I would have made it, but since it's at 7:00, I can't. Oh, I wish you came directly to my house and we're doing the show. And it's like at some point it's like a little bit like, come on, man, just you can't make it and it's cool, Preston writes in episode 2739, worst date ever. Karen be knowing. I appreciate the take on friendship and its impact on relationships. Adult friendships are difficult enough, but a partner who is resistant to your friends makes it even more problematic. As a gay man, that's even more of an issue. Luckily, my husband and I have matured to have friends who respect our relationships while being great friends. Right. Thanks. See you at the live show, Preston. Thanks, Preston. And yeah, definitely. I mean, we're just speaking on cis-het relationships. I can't even imagine same-sex relationships because a lot of times people are going to look at that like, y'all definitely gonna fuck, Loose Baby was the next episode. Aaron says, hello, Karen and Rod. Your discussion with Bossy on social media is the exact reason I'm using it much less and taking everything I see there with a grain of salt. I actually think listening to y'all talk about how toxic Twitter and social media can be helped me look at it through a different perspective and filter through all of the BS. I used to get angry, upset, triggered, and fought people in the comments and even have my mood affected outside the online space. And I had to stop going on for a while and get back into the right mindset. I watch a lot of YouTube. I recently watched a video where 3 people had to guess what crime a group of other people committed from a list of crimes. One of the guesses was a defense attorney who had been practicing for 20 years. She guessed that one of the participants was black. He was South Asian. And I looked at part of the crime scene. She guessed for him based on what was portrayed in the media. This participant and another black male participant rightfully called her out, saying they felt hurt because her whole job is to defend others and help the community with their experience and have good discernment, especially after 20 years of experience, while she just was wildly guessing crimes based on what she sees on the media and TV.
Right.
Now, I'm mentioning this because I like to read the comments on YouTube for feedback and curiosity of what others think. A lot of people were praising the two men for calling her out, but also hoping she loses her job, get disbarred, calling her names, and just wishing for her life to be ruined. I thought this was wild because y'all don't really know how well she does her job or really anything other than that 10-minute video.
Right. And they was just playing, like not playing the game, but it was presented and she just gets, it's not like she's doing her job as far as investigating and all that stuff. You're kind of going off the top of the dome.
Like, hopefully she could use this as a good learning experience to take a look at her own biases and so she could be a better defense attorney and continue to help people. But it was up to the commentator. She would be fired, disbarred, and had her house burned down. Yeah, my main problem with that is those people, that's a setup. Mm-hmm. Like, y'all basically playing Guess the Race, a game we play for fun here.
Yes.
But if you'll notice, sometimes when we have certain guests on, we don't even play that game because I don't want them to ever get in a situation like this where somebody's like, oh, Eljoy Williams is a representative of this district and the NAACP, and she was over here guessing the race was this, that, and the other. Now, if the person really wants to play, I'm not going to stop them because Eljoy don't give a fuck.
Right.
But my point being, like, there's certain people where I'm like, yeah, this game is not worth the possibility of what people can do.
Correct.
And I do think it's fucked up that, I don't think it's fucked up she guessed black. I think it's fucked up that people had her playing this, whatever this stupid ass inflammatory game is, and people fell for the hook, line, and sinker and said, ooh, look what she doing, she racist. I think that's dumb. Because if she would have been correct, what would that have proven?
Right.
Let's say she said white, that would have been okay. There's the fucking game is stupid. Mandy says, Jason and Carly, dear Rod and Karen, about Carly, she should get consequences for her action because black women and children get missing and it goes unnoticed. She basically just played us, but at the same time, she may have done this because she knew that the public and media never cared about the kidnapping of black women. I don't know, but I don't want to hear excuses. There needs to be accountability for her actions. I get that people feel punitive about it. I just don't think it's going to change anything for black women that go missing. If people weren't going to look for them before this, they weren't going to look after this. Agreed. And if they were going to look before this, they're still going to look. So I don't think it changes anything. And I think if anything, people spent so much time trying to make her case about all black women. Right. Then now there's a punitive level of like making her pay. But if you notice, she's never been the one that brought up anything about being a black woman and how much y'all need to look for her because she's black. Right. This ain't Jussie Smollett.
Right. And it's also one of those things, like a lot of stuff, people treated her as a mascot and not an actual human being. And that was the problem from the beginning because people, quote unquote, root for mascots. You don't actually care about them. And, a lot of people didn't care. And a lot of people, I understand you being upset because you go, well, y'all make this big thing. Y'all don't really care. No. And they're not going to care about the next one.
Right.
If they didn't care.
But my thing is, you don't care. If you went from, I need her to be found to, I need her to be punished, you don't care about her. And just leave it at that. Because what I would be thinking is, I need her to get some mental help.
Agreed.
I wouldn't be thinking of this as a punishment situation. If I cared about black women the way y'all say y'all care, I don't see how you flipped it to, we got to make an example out of her. I think, when does the system make an example out of somebody actually change anything?
Right.
We had the death penalty in America. It's not stopping people from killing people. It ain't stopping shit. Second, the Jason Aldean fiasco. I hate to say this, but I don't find his new song offensive. Wow, you are taking some wild swings, Mandy. I never know what's going to happen with you from week to week. Okay? I do not. You are a wild boy, a wild person, wild woman. At least he is talking about looking out for his community and unity, unlike mine, which is sad to say. Black people, we live in small towns where nowhere in the song he mentioned race nor made it racial. The media is making racial because he is a white country artist, which people automatically think race is genre, but I'm black and I'm not racist and I love all types of music. So the fact that it was Black Lives Matter footage in the video that they took out, has that changed your opinion? Because this was 5 days ago. And I don't know if you wrote back in, but clearly the song had something to do with black people.
Right. And on top of that, it's one of those things where it's that plausible deniability. And as long as they have that, people would defend it. But I'm not trying to be funny and not quote unquote towards you, but just people in general. It just takes an extra step of actually looking at it, looking at the words, looking at these landmarks, how people are like, hey dog, they hung somebody there, like shit like that. Where you go, oh, it's a racial undertone. But for some people, I gotta say nigga, I gotta show you lynchings. I have to quote unquote do the most outlandish thing before people call it racist.
It's just wild to me because man, I just recognize Mandy's name from all the times she's written in, and like, you know, I guess we're all human, but sometimes Mandy sees the most conspiratorial, like, you know, like stuff in these people and in these stories where she's writing in. It's like, this is big. This is a much bigger, deeper thing. And then this is one time it's well, clearly this is not a big deal at all. Like, why would anyone even assume, you know, this? Right. And I guess I find it to be a bit surprising.
Yeah, and also it's one of those things where, not trying to find it, we know everybody, like, you know, country music is that thing where it crosses all types of genre. And just because you point something out, and just because I don't know if you think doing this is a personal attack against you, like in country music, I don't know, but that, to me, that's not what it is. It's going, this man and this song, it is a problem.
He mentioned criminal activities that happen in a town, but does that mean that anything that is affiliated with crime equal black? We should be mad at the media for making it something that is not. Rap songs talk about sex, drugs, violence, and murder, and no outrage about that. Well, that's a lie.
Right.
At least to the level this country song is getting. Rappers explicitly say those things aforementioned in rap songs. There are rappers who make clean rap music, but it goes unnoticed and doesn't chart high on the charts. Where's the rap songs that talk about unity in the community and looking out for another, because a rap gang can definitely use and make another self-destruction song? Well, it's not like self-destruction stopped the crack epidemic or gang violence or any of that shit. I think those things might make people feel better, but they're just fucking songs. Yeah. And if the societal construction around people and race and location and class are still there after the rap song, people gonna still do the things the rap song is telling them not to do. I think you're looking at a chicken or egg situation, as if the song is making people do something, when if that was the case, when we had the positive rap of the 80s and 90s, we wouldn't believe in black utopia, and we were not. So I don't agree with that.
Right. And there's also, not trying to be funny, it's one of the arguments conservatives make. You might as well say, what about the kids in Chicago? This shit don't make no sense. It's like comparing apples to oranges. And people are mad. People are upset. There are people to today that fight against all the misogyny and all that shit in black music, you know. And if that was something you wanted to know, you would be quote unquote aware of that. But you purposely are leaving that particular piece out of your argument when you say this. People can be upset, have the right to be upset about this, and people can see the undertone in it. It don't make them wrong just because they talk about, hey, there's something wrong with this song. And like Roger said, come to find out, they did cut out all these Black Lives Matter and shit out of it. I wonder, will that change your opinion, or are you going to feel this way regardless?
She wrote in later in the week, and I don't know. I don't see her addressing that they actually did take those things out of the video. So I don't know, felt like Mandy went a little black conservative on us, a little black Republican there at the end, and maybe she has some hangups about that. Mm-hmm. I just find it interesting because I remember there was an email she wrote in about, it was like black women, and it was addressed only to you, and it was like, thank you for saying black women are so disrespected and in corporate America and all this stuff. And it's like, well, how can the same person that believes that think that about Jason Aldean and think black people making the wrong kind of music needs to be called? I don't know. Feels a little black conservative to me.
Yeah, and my thing is, you have the right to feel that way, but it don't mean I got to agree.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's our show, and no one's being disrespectful to anybody here. It's fine for her to write in with things that she disagrees with, but yeah, to me, I'm just saying, reading this, and I can see in the chat already, yeah, this is a very unpopular opinion she's dropping. So, Rod and Karen, when I first, I guess, heard Sinead O'Connor pass, I couldn't believe it. She was, in my opinion, the first woke white woman that was canceled by her own. She didn't care for the national anthem because it was racist. Boycotted the Grammy due to excluding rap. Yeah, but not positive rap. That was when a lot of people making gangster rap, Mandy. So maybe she was maybe she wasn't woke. She should have only been, she should have been mad about we all in the same gang, but not NWA. Come on. Called out the Catholic Church about the priest. Powerful letter to white people about white people and racism when Trayvon Martin died, and not conforming to beauty standards with the shaved head and casual dress. She was a real one. She was supportive of Public Enemy in the beginning of the career and did a song with MC Lyte. All those things, and it destroyed her career. And what she said back then came truth now, and never received an apology. A woke white woman getting carried by her own people, basically. May she rest in peace. Yeah, I thought the most interesting thing about her, at least the way people were eulogizing her and going up for her, which I didn't mind, but I thought it was interesting because just a few years ago, she had called out Prince because she wrote a book and stuff, and she had said that Prince was abusive. He used to do drugs and beat women. She claimed he like beat her in a pillow fight, but he put something in the pillow that was hard to hurt her, and that he was mad at her about like music and stuff, and no one brought that up. And normally motherfuckers bring up the worst shit when, you know, like they go even further. But I remember when Prince died, people were basically like, well, she's bipolar. Like, well, they're like, well, you know, she said he beat, but she's bipolar. She crazy. Okay, so we're not finna discuss that. But anyway, human beings, we're all messy.
We're complex creatures.
Chris says, Rod, you basically described how I've been making bacon for years. Just wanted to also share my favorite recipe for making bacon if you're interested. It's a $1 million bacon recipe. Love listening to you and Karen. Peace, Christoph.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I don't even know where to begin with $1 million bacon. I guess it's a candied bacon recipe or something. But I'm gonna be real. Bacon already kind of tastes salty to me. Sometimes a little too salty just out the pack.
I wonder if on how it's cut, or does that matter?
Sometimes I don't know. Bacon just tastes salty to me.
Okay.
I'm sensitive to salt. And so whenever I see someone talk about seasoning their bacon, like Randolph, he seasons his bacon and he talks about it all the time in our air fryer group and shit. And I'll be thinking like, why the fuck would you ever add anything to bacon? Because most seasonings have salt in them. So to me, it's just salt and salt. And I already think bacon is salty as it is. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of seasoning my bacon. I think bacon coming the way it is just basically the only way I can take it.
There's some people do salty and sweet. You know, like they have like, you know, coated sugar, brown sugar, coated bacon, all this other type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. There's maple bacon. There's all that stuff. But you're still normally adding like some form of salt to it or something. You know, like even a lot of sweet stuff has a little bit of salt in it, you know?
Yes.
So I'm not, like I said, to me personally, I can only just fuck with bacon the way it comes. It's not a knock on people that have different taste buds. Last email, John writes saying, good morning, Rod and Karen. Rod, when you said it was always going to get to abuse regarding the TikTok video about time blindness, I almost gave a standing ovation. People like that girl in the video are always using social justice and therapy language to make things into abuse because abuse is one of the most instant argument enders. Yeah, this is conflict is not abuse, Sarah Shulman, and it's also one of the ways to get good content is you elevate everything to abuse. I think it's out of control. I think the words trauma and abuse almost mean nothing now. I'm sorry for those that think everything is violence and abuse and
right.
Those you have lowered the bar to when someone says violence to me, I go, so nothing. You know what I mean? Because you're not even pretending that it's like the way we should respond to violence versus the way that people escalate things that aren't violence into violence has just become about content. I will get you to pay more attention if I say this thing is more dire than it is. Mm-hmm. And either you're the toughest motherfucker in the world living through the slings and arrows of life that no one's ever experienced because the world is just so aggressive to you and only you, or you're talking about regular shit we all experience in the most inflammatory way possible so that I'll go, oh my God, I have to pay attention to this person. And I think we kind of lost the plot somewhere. Mm-hmm. Let me illustrate. Rod, when Karen points out to an open parking space, even if you already saw it, she uses words and words are violence. That is abuse. Karen, when Rod offers to put away the dishes on the higher shelf, he's crossing vertical boundaries of your relationship, which is also abuse. Of course, my pointing these things out is also abuse and probably a racist microaggression. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that don't want to engage with this critically when I say that type of thing. Not me, but just in general when this point comes up about how we've used language to escalate we've used language of therapy and harm to escalate stuff so we can get more attention. And it was funny to me, and I pointed out at the time when people said, oh, Jonah Hill is abusing therapy words. And I said, like all of us are doing? Like all of us basically are doing? Like that's not a Jonah Hill thing. That's when people want their way thing. They just couch the shit in like therapy words, and you're supposedly a bad person if you don't say, yeah, you know what, you're right. And I've watched people do it. This is one of the reasons I say, like, just because someone has a marginalized identity and they start talking that talk, it don't make them right. Mm-hmm. And the ultimate coddling of people of like, well, this is a whatever group. Like you pick the marginalized group. Like this is a indigenous trans woman. She gets to sexually harass people at the job and we can't say nothing. That's not what equality was supposed to mean. Mm-mm. You know, you should be just as able to say, nah, that's not right as anybody else. And that should be the real equality. That we stand on our principles regardless of who the person is, you know?
Right. And it's also one of those things to where when it comes to therapy, any therapist is actually good at their job. Some of the shit they see online, I was like, I think some of y'all are lying on these therapists because any therapist that you're actually paying, there are some things that they would never say for legal reasons and all types of shit. So it's like, hey, dog, like, yeah. And it's also, like you said, people use therapy as an excuse to erase accountability and responsibility for their actions. But part of therapy is to make you aware of actions and to help you adjust to a world that's not going to adjust to you, help you cope through a world, help get to the things in your mind, the things that trigger you, the things that make you tick, your childhood. It is a deep process if done correctly. It isn't just throwing around a bunch of words just so you are not accountable for shit.
I also find it funny that that girl and lots of people online like her want jobs to be not transactional, but then when you see how people operate with people, they always seem to demand that personal relationships be weirdly transactional, like the exact opposite that they are supposed to be. Make that make sense. Rod, thanks so much for the episode detailing all the work the DOJ is doing. Now that it looks like Merrick Garland will absolutely be indicting Trump for January 6th, all the goalposts are being moved to, yeah, but it should have been sooner, better, etc. from haters, and it reminds me of the same energy the assholes have for finding any reason to bash Hillary. No investigation is free of mistakes and delays. Former prosecutors will say as much all the time. There's always stuff that could do differently if they had a second chance, but this investigation is supposed to be perfect, not just perfect, expedient and perfect. And if they would have made any mistakes in the pursuit of making this fast, the same people that are bashing them would be bashing them for fucking this thing up and possibly Trump getting off with it.
Right.
And just like every presidential candidate has flaws, Garland is being held to impossible standards the same way Hillary was for being a flawed candidate. Yeah, my favorite thing is I believe, and I'll listen to Sisters Law later today, sure, but I believe that they didn't just indict Trump for this, they're going to or whatever. They're saying we're expediting this. We want this shit to happen before the other things.
Yes.
And that to me was something they could always have said and something I anticipated them saying. And now that it's being said, I wanted to be crickets out here. Sit back and enjoy the show, man. Y'all said y'all wanted this, didn't you? Really digging the Drake the Maniacs podcast. So much fun and congrats on the gig. Finally, on the much discussed topic of Tiki Palmer and Darius, whoever the fuck, I just want to say thank you, Usher. Cheers and stay safe, John. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
That's everybody. Thanks for all the feedback. We appreciate y'all.
Yay.
Don't forget the live show tickets. The link is in the show notes. It's coming up on Saturday, September the 9th, 3 p.m.
Yes.
Gonna be in Charlotte. We would love to see you there.
We would love
We
to
have
see you
online
there.
tickets. If you can't be there, you want to watch it virtually, you can do that. It means the world to us. If you can support us, buying tickets is the best way. And yeah, like I said, no need to write in if you can't make it. You shouldn't feel guilty. And we don't want to feel bad that it's just a bunch of people like, I can't make it. We
Like,
get it. You can't make it.
It's okay, y'all.
We'll be back throughout the week. Until then, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everyone. Have a good rest of your evening.